My birthday's coming up too. We have the same birthday.
Good.
I'm the 16th.
Oh, nice. Do you know what? My dad's the 10th. My son's the 4th. Mother-in-law's the 11th, and my brother-in-law's the 10th as well. So there's 5 of us in 1 week.
Yeah, that's crazy. Do you even celebrate your own birthday anymore?
Well, 40 seems to be the time to do it, apparently. And my mum keeps insisting on doing something for it, but I haven't really made any plans yet. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Hey, when I read your comments, I need to start reading them in your voice. Isn't it crazy? Like, when you read people's stuff, like you read it in their voice. Like if your wife sends you a text, you hear it in their voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. What a voice you have.
Hey, well, I can change it if you want, but
what do you got? Can you do Indian dudes?
Yes. Hello. How are you?
Wow, that's good. Hey, that's more like an African guy who just like is fresh off the boat.
No, I can do that one. Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Can you
I'm
do
a cunning linguist.
Can you? Wow, those are great words to put next to each other.
Mm.
Can I use that?
Of course, it's yours.
Wow, I'm a cunning linguist. Wow.
Mm.
Hey, I need to look where the Isle of Man is. That's where you are, Jake?
Yeah. It's buried away in the Irish Sea somewhere. So if you look up the British Isles,
ISLEMANN.
Yeah, ISLE of man, not men.
Okay, of man. And there's two. Oh, so is it one N or two?
Yeah, one.
Okay.
Although when you look it up, it can be referred to as man, MANN, because it comes from Manannan, which is the Celtic god of the sea. So that's where it gets its name.
Oh, dude, I had no idea it was there.
Mm. Yeah, right back in the middle. So there's a old Celtic word called mang, MANGS, which means middle. So mang, it's debated whether it's Manannan, which is the god of the sea and travel, or whether it's mang from being in the middle. But on a clear day, if you go up to the top of the island, you can see Ireland, Northern Ireland, Scotland, England, and Wales, and Anglesey, which is that little island down the bottom there. So you can see the 7 points of Britain.
Are there ferries that go between here and the mainland, or is it all flight?
Yeah, so the ferry goes to, there's two, but Liverpool, if you look down the bottom right there, you've got Liverpool. That's the main sort of dock in England for a lot of the ferries and boats. So it takes about 4 hours on the ferry to get from Douglas to Liverpool there. So it's about 4 hours.
And you take your car on the ferry?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, we do. So I used to live, my accent and where I'm from originally was just outside of London, where I have my affiliates. So we drive we get the boat to Liverpool, and then we usually drive down. It's about 4 hours from Liverpool down to London, which is sort of bottom right down there. Takes about 4 hours to drive there, but you can fly down to London in about 50 minutes. So if you're willing to, do all the dilly-dallying around when you get there with the bloody taxis and buses or whatever, or Uber, it's more expensive, but the boat seems to be a bit easier for me with the 2 kids.
And when the airport in Isle of Man, does it take jets, or are they all prop planes? Are there big planes that land there? Can you fly out of the country from Isle of Man?
Yeah, so for it costs a lot of money to charter a plane from the island. So the companies, like the international companies, they do a few, but it's only for a couple of months of the year. So a lot of people on the island go direct flights to Spain, the Canaries. There's a couple of other places. It's basically Southern Europe. They do some direct flights for a couple of months of the year to get people directly, because it costs more. It's more expensive, but it's just so much less hassle getting off. Because obviously, if you go from the island, you can go to Dublin and then go from Dublin. And if you're going to the US, it's actually a lot easier, because in Dublin they've got a can't remember what it's called. You've got your check-in in Dublin.
The customs.
Yeah, that you do customs in Ireland. So when you land in the US, you don't have to do it all. So
yeah, that's nice. That's really nice.
Yeah, I'm off to Dublin in April actually. So
To do what?
just for a weekend with my wife.
Oh,
It'll be the first time since my daughter was born in 2017 that we've been away for longer than one night from them together.
how many kids do you have?
2, 7 and 5.
Oh, okay. Wow, you and I are in the same boat, except you're 20 years
Mm.
younger, almost 12 years younger.
Yeah.
Jake, so if I'm just trying to understand correctly, so you can't just you can't just go on the internet now and get on a British Airways flight and fly to New York from Isle of Man.
No.
It's small.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many
So
people live there?
84,000. And it's been pretty much there for the last 50 years. 84,000 seems to be like a number it floats around. But they're trying to increase the population. They had a bit of an issue about 30 years ago, which is why I said 30, where the population was starting to decrease, where there was an aging population. And so they did incentives for people to have 3 or more kids. So it's worked. It's on the increase. So it's getting there. There's a lot more for kids to do over here, orientated around sport. So although the access to things like there's like one cinema on the island, which is about 50 million years old, so it's a bit shitty. But there's so much access for kids for sport on the island. So there's like 2 gymnastics clubs within 10 minutes away. There's an athletic center within 10 minutes of anywhere.
A what center?
Athletics. So track and field. Yeah. There's 4 swimming pools on each corner. We've got 5 CrossFit gyms on the island. There's insane cyclists come out of the island, so because we've got perfect altitudes and road systems for it. You've obviously got the Manx TT, so the bike race once a year for a couple of weeks. That every single kid on the island has full access at a very affordable price to all sports. So I've got a running theory on this, which is that CrossFit is perfectly geared up for the island. The kids so you've got Kringle came out of there, which Jon's just said. So Amy Kringle lived in Glen May. So on the west coast there, you've got Peel in the middle, and then just below there you've got Glen May. So Amy was there. That's where Amy's from. So from a young age, they go swimming. They've got full access to swimming, athletics, soccer, gymnastics. Everything's really affordable. There's insane amount of volunteers on the island from coaches that do stuff for free to help kids get in. And I'm
look at that road network. That's crazy. There's like nothing there.
No, there's no. So there's a lot of the kids. So you can learn to drive when you're 16 on the island. In the UK, it's 17. But a lot of the kids, they get used to driving for a year, and then they go across to mainland to the UK. Then they've never been on what you call a freeway. So we have motorways, and it's like a baptism of fire. They've got no main roads on the island. It's all what you class as a B road.
Okay, sorry, your theory. I hijacked you.
That's all right. So
tell me your theory.
So because of that broad spectrum access to sports, kids get involved with gymnastics, swimming. They do a lot of track and field. They do a lot of, they've got so much access to sport. By the time they get to 15, 16, 17, they have been exposed to so many different styles of sport and exercise that they come out of it being these well-adapted humans that can just pretty much do anything you throw at them. So the likes of Amy, she got to 16, 17, 18, and she was perfectly prepared to go into CrossFit. We've got Connor, who won the British Open a few years back in 2021, I think it was. He found CrossFit in 2019, but he adapted to it perfectly. He had a boxing background. He's insanely fit, strong, and gymnastics background. There's just this crop of kids that come out, and it's perfectly set up for CrossFit. But the only exception to that is that our weather is, you'd hate it. But we get it's quite temporal. So throughout the year, we get all the seasons really well. But winter is proper winter. Summer is beautiful for us. It's 30 degrees Celsius.
Does it
Hey,
snow?
sorry.
Does it snow?
Yeah.
Oh,
We
it
get
does.
proper snow. Yeah. We had about 8 inches a little while ago, and then within a week we've got the sun's out. Sun's out, guns out. So there's a lot. There's a lot of variety in terms of temperature and weather here. So it's great for my kids. Like, it's one of the many reasons I moved the kids over here when I did. So
What was
yeah,
the incentive they gave to have 3 kids? Like, what did they say? Like fewer taxes or something?
yeah. I mean, we're a tax haven anyway, so there's real minimal taxation over here. It's more a case of access to things. So it's the buses, the work, pay for when mums are having time off work, they get, a certain amount of pay. The dads get, looked after when they're going to work. There's a lot of cultural backing behind it. And it's now a very common thing that families all have 3 kids.
And there's
And
homes.
houses.
Wow, a 6-bedroom place for 20 million pounds. Okay, so there's some expensive shit out there.
Yeah, and the reason for that is you get a lot of millionaires and a few billionaires. They set residency over here for tax reasons, because it's a tax haven. So what's his name? What's his bollocks? Tyson Fury's currently looking for a house to come over here with his family.
God, it's beautiful there. Hey, so it's green, it's lush.
Oh yeah. It's beautiful.
Hey, when I was looking at the map, wow, this place is crazy. This looks like something Epstein would own.
He might have done. I don't know.
God, and there's some great pieces of land. Hey, what kind of animals are on the
Well, so we've got the weirdest one, right? So we've got the Manx cat. So you've got the Manx cat hasn't got a tail. So
oh, is that like I think we have something like that. Is it like a bobcat?
yeah, but they're just domestic cats. So they're a breed of domestic cat and they haven't got a tail.
Okay.
So they're normal size, but without a tail. I think Mike McCaskey might have a couple of them, I think he said that before. But we don't have a lot of mid-sized mammals. So foxes, badgers, we don't have any of them. We have wallabies, right? So we've got a safari park. Yeah.
So what's a wallaby? Is that a koala bear?
No, it's like a little kangaroo.
Oh.
So we've got a wildlife park on the island, and 4 of them escaped I think it's about 10 years ago, and they've been breeding. So we've got wild fucking wallabies jumping about in the middle of the roads and stuff.
Oh, they're so cute. They're like a yeah, they're like a like you said, like a kangaroo.
Like a mini kangaroo. We've got them flying around everywhere. Well, I say everywhere. I think there's about 200 couple pairs.
So you see them, or occasionally you'll see a dead one on the road.
Yeah, exactly. And they're silly buggers. They tend to enjoy jumping off cliffs. So every now and again, you'll be walking on the beach and you'll just find one of them washed up. Well, they're not the smartest of things, but I mean, they're Australian. So.
And I'm guessing you have tons of deer.
No, do you know what? We haven't got any. In the UK has. So where I used to live in Windsor, near Windsor Castle, which is where the Queen lived, R.I.P. Tons of deer, absolutely tons of deer, but they've basically been hunted out of extinction to extinction on the island. We haven't got any red squirrels. We haven't got any squirrels actually. Full stop. So there's a load of these small mammal bracket that we just don't have any.
Is it a stopover for birds? Any crazy birds use it for migration?
We've got peregrine falcons here.
That's a good one.
Peregrine falcons. Yeah, they're decent. We got
that here
obviously,
in California.
Yeah, we've got what they called Egyptian geese. I think we've got a few of. They're like the orange sort of small geese. We've got the only native birds we've got are bloody seagulls and crows.
Oh yeah, crows are fucking everywhere.
They're awesome.
Many birds migrate to the Isle of Man in the spring from Africa and then return there in the fall. The island's diverse habitat supports a wide variety of sea and coastal birds. And you probably don't have a lot of bugs either because it gets so cold in the winter.
Yeah, no, we don't. I mean, we've been here 3 years, and I used to come here all the bloody time for holidays because my mum's from the Isle of Man, and I've never seen a mosquito here. They just don't. don't bother with the island.
And then you have ravens.
Yeah, we get a few. We get a few. That's Chris, by the way, Beasterfeld.
This guy, Another Realm channel.
Yeah, he started his own channel.
He's
Talking
finally
about
smoked enough weed to where he went into another realm. That's interesting. He was always close. He was always close, but he finally slipped over. All right.
yeah.
Do you smoke weed?
No, although it is legal on the island, you can get it.
Oh, really? It's legal? I thought. Is it legal in the UK?
No, only
Oh,
through
island.
no. So the island's
They
got its
really are
complete.
trying to encourage people to come there.
Yeah. So the island's got its own government and parliament. So we're for all intents and purposes, we're a separate country. But we pay the royal crown for defense. So if ever we got invaded, the army would come and defend us. So there's this whole historic sort of back and forward. But the island is in its own sense, its own domain. So because of that, they pass their own laws and do whatever. And so I could open carry a gun here if I wanted to. I could smoke weed if I wanted to. We've got a lot of prospects on the island, but we don't talk about it.
Is it a vacation
sorry?
spot? Is it, you know how like the Netherlands is a vacation spot for like whores and drugs, and like we used to have spots like that in the US, but they've legalized weed in so many places. Do people come there just to smoke weed, like, or to get
No,
weed?
so no, do you know it's back in the early 20th century, it was the place to go for tourists from Britain. Like the Isle of Man was the tourist spot. Used to get the ferry and come over. As soon as the aeroplane came in and people had cheap, affordable holidays elsewhere, they didn't bloody come here because it was too cold. But the time of the year where people do flock from all around the world is the Manx TT, so the bike races. So people come from all around the world there, and then they get up to all sorts. But we've got no strip clubs. So there's no titty bars on the island. So it's quite.
Wait, why aren't there titty bars? Sorry, I was reading a comment because so many people are married.
No, it's just it's quite a conservative island. So you've got a lot. The aging population here is probably about 50% is over 50, I think.
Yeah.
And because of that, you've got a lot of pride in conservative values, and they like to look after their own. And I think because of that, it's quite a small island. Everyone knows everyone here. It's very rare that
like everyone would know you.
Everyone would know it. No, there's never anyone having affairs on the island because you'd know within half a day. It would just get around. So yeah, but no, it's a really good kept secret, the island, and I'm amazed that more people don't move here from Britain. Like,
you don't
but
get island fever ever? You're cool with it. You like it. You don't ever feel isolated?
No, not really. I've got everything that I want here. I'm quite a simple person.
When you got that microphone and did you order that on Amazon?
Yeah. So rather than next day delivery, it's like 3 days.
Okay. Yeah,
that's not too bad.
No, that's not bad at all. That's not
bad
at all. And you own gyms. I just assumed all the gyms you own. How many gyms do you own?
I don't own any.
Oh,
not anymore. No, I used to own 2. I had 2 affiliates in Greater London.
And then what do you do there? What's your day job there?
So I am a coach. I do some PT work. I've established and headed up Isle of Man weightlifting. So I'm starting the sport on the island. So to get people to international comps and build that, because they haven't ever had one. But predominantly PT, and I work at the CrossFit gyms here, which is what I know inside out. It's my bread and butter. So it's where I feel like I can feel comfortable. And I knew Dan and Erin. So Dan and Erin are the owners on the island.
Those 2 guys own all. You said there's 5 gyms.
So yeah, they're kind of connected in there's like a community of gyms here. So Dan and Erin are in charge of pretty much all of it. They're a married couple. So Erin's the wife. Very hardworking couple. They've been affiliate owners and from 2012. So that's when they first opened on the island. Dan is an exceptional programmer. He got Amy to where she was until last year, and she moved across. He's got a young lady called Belinda Dennett, who's 17 soon, who is just a phenom. She was in Wadapalooza. She went to the teen games. She's just
So when you
this.
said Amy, you meant Amy Kringle.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. And there's a few masters athletes that are just above and beyond what you'd expect. There was 2 of them at the games, and they've just been to Wadapalooza. So and that's all on a small island of 84,000 people. So that's Dan. Erin's an insane physio. She's a really, really good athlete herself. So with those 2, they've got 2 lovely little daughters. They're a really good little family unit, and it's kind of indicative of what is on the island. So you've got these really strong family units that are within a really strong community in their towns or villages, and then on top of that, you've got this island-wide pride. I moved from England, where we're sort of embarrassed to have pride, and I don't mean pride as in the rainbows. I mean pride as in national pride. I think that's been beaten out of England over the last sort of 60, 100 years because of
they tried to beat it out of the United States, but now Trump is here, and it's like,
exactly.
It's so much better to go America. It's so much better when people have pride in their country.
Yeah, whether you like it or not, it's fundamental. It's what you need. Without
that's why Poland looks so fun right now.
Yeah. They
have country pride. Like, have you seen like video of their subways?
No.
It's like nothing like our subways. It's like safe. There's like nothing. There's just like kids and old people down there, like, and young people. Just it's clean. You don't have to worry about anything. It's not noisy. No one gets pushed into the tracks. I mean, it's crazy. Nothing like our shit.
No, so obviously, like I said, I grew up in Greater London, and I was on the tube there. So the underground in London, and the crime rate is virtually non-existent on the tube now because of the amount of systems they've got in place, and security guards and this, that, and the other.
They don't even care in the US anymore. That's what's happened. We reached a point where, like, it doesn't matter. So it used to be like if you parked your car somewhere and you kept an eye on it, you feel safe. Now it doesn't matter, because they'll just walk up and look at you in the eye, and like they got a little piece of metal, and they touch your window and it shatters, and they grab your bag and they walk away. You know what I mean? Like no one's even. It used to be like, hey, you were a little embarrassed if you got caught or something, or you thought you might get caught. Now no one even gives a shit.
Yeah, I think the only, looking at the flip side of that, the only good thing about that is that it can easily be rectified, because it hasn't. You've had no laws passed. There's nothing legal that's changed. It's just the state of affairs currently within the communities within the country. You haven't adopted your constitution. You haven't changed anything.
Right. The mood and tolerance has changed, but the actual rules haven't changed.
Yeah, that's the important bit to note there. It's just the way that people are acting up. Whereas in countries like Britain or the UK, where laws have been passed that promote certain ways of being and thinking and restrict them, I think they're in a bit more of a pickle than you guys are. Even though on the surface, it's just a numbers game. You guys have got what, 300 million? How many of you are there in the?
I think 350 or something, or 400.
Yeah, so you've got 350 million. We've in England and Scotland, I think it's something like 65 million. So 5 times the size. So you think about all these bloody phones and videos, and the quick fire news and social media shit that comes out. It's a numbers game. You're just going to see a lot more of it coming out. So it might seem like it's more widespread, like it's bigger, but proportionally speaking, it's probably just the same wherever you go.
Well, in these types of countries, you mean like first world countries? You mean like
UK, and in third world countries, you're not hearing about it because the news, it doesn't sell.
And they don't have shit to steal there. No one's getting their shit stolen in Africa because they ain't got no one has a Ferrari there.
No, exactly.
Hey, do you have a car dealership on the island?
Not personally, but yeah, there's a few.
Someone could buy a car there. Like you could buy a car there.
Yeah. There's this really cool thing over here where like I don't want to call it recycling or upcycling or passing on stuff. So, for example, I've got my son's nearly 6. He's 6 in March. We've got so many friends with boys that are like 10, 9, 8 years old they will think nothing of bagging up all the clothes, washing them, folding them up, and just knocking on the door and saying, right, here's a massive load of kit for your kids. So, and it just, things that get passed down. Same with cars. So because it would cost a lot of money to scrap to get it off the island to go, people tend to hold on to shit for a bit longer and look after their stuff and pass it on. It's things like the tip. I can't remember whether you call it a trash yard. I think Heidi called it someone. Do you have a way you take your excess rubbish that the bin men don't come and collect? Right. So
you don't have garbage men, so you load it.
No, we do. We do, but if they come like once every fortnight or once a week, if we've got extra stuff, then we just take it directly to the what we call the tip or the dump or whatever you want to call it. But there's a section there where if I've got a load of toys from the kids or books or furniture or an old telly that I don't want anymore, you put it into this like shipping container with the doors open, and people come along and they will help themselves to it.
God, this place sounds really civilized.
It is, but on the like it's one of those where like to look at it if people were to look at it on like surface value, they would think it's old hat, it's behind, it's amateur, it's messy, whatever. But when you get used to that way of living, everything else just seems so surfaced. So it seems so clean, polished, and just ridiculous that there's so much waste, and it makes sense being over here. It's one of those.
Isn't it that those types of like nuances in life, like I live in a place where like my neighbors will come over with eggs, like if they have extra eggs, I live in a place that's like country enough where, or if I have a problem with my roof, I call my neighbor, or like, you know what I mean? If you just talk to your neighbors here, if a neighbor will tell all the other neighbors, hey, I have too much fruit on my trees, can you guys come over and pick some? So all the kids come over. But then there's some places where people won't even talk to their neighbors. It's 800 people living in a building and no one talks to anyone.
Which
like
is
all
nuts.
on top of each other. Yeah, it's fascinating. Hey, are there different communities? Is there an Irish community on the island, or is all you English people?
Do you know, it's quite a melting pot. I think where we're right in the middle, you've got people come from Ireland that want to escape the shit that's going on with Ireland over the last however many years. You've got people, because Ireland's still fairly orthodox in their ways, but they've got a lot of traffic going through it, and a lot of there's quite a big drug trade in Ireland, and there's a lot of shit going on. Same with England. England's far worse. You've got different people that come here for different reasons, but the people that come here and stay here are the people that want to live in a community environment and want to help out. They all want to pitch in. Everyone's here to help one another. No one's here just for their own shit, because I'll be honest, there's not enough opportunity for that to happen. We don't lock our doors. We don't lock our, we don't bother taking our keys out of the car. At the gym, at the CrossFit gym, you just literally rock up, you walk in, you pop your stuff on the side and you go. You don't even have to worry about your house being locked. The bloody postman will go around the side of the house, open up the kitchen door and put your post if you haven't. They don't even knock on the door. They just come in your kitchen and pop it down. You can leave. It's so secure. I mean, it's the safest place in the British Isles, like year after year after year. And the reason for that is because it's so secluded. Once you're here, you can't nick a car. You can't steal a car and drive it away. You're going to get to the beach. That's as far as you can get. So there's none of it. And it was part of our reason for moving here, was that we both wanted opportunity for the kids, for activity, for a simple life to grow up. When they get a bit older, we'll reevaluate and we'll see what we want to do. But again, it's why we homeschool. We want this way of life that is so calm. We want calm. We want to be able to choose when they don't have their calm. And that's the big difference for us over here. Whereas in the UK, we went across for Christmas to see my family that are still there. Second night I was there, my car got broken into.
Yeah.
And it was like a slap in. It was a reminder why we moved away. 3 years here and we haven't had a single anything go wrong. The hospitals are pretty much clear. My boy's a bit of a knob. He'll try everything. He watched the TT races and he decided he wanted to be a TT racer. So he went around the hill without any brakes and came off it, and scar down his chin. He's got scars all over him. But I wouldn't have it any other way. But I know that the hospital's 10 minutes down the road. And when he does that, which he will continue to do so, because he likes climbing trees and jumping out at the moment, because he's a little twat, I will be able to get him to the hospital, patched up, fixed, and ready to go again. Yeah. In the UK, that would be a 10-hour wait if you're lucky.
Yeah.
So it's all the little nuances. And I heard you saying the other day on the show, stuff that you care about or worry about now compared to what you used to or compared to what other people do. The stuff that I worry about is if I've got their bloody packed lunch ready for being at the gym for 3 hours. Like, and have I got enough chicken in for them? It's all they're my biggest worries in life now, which is exactly what I want. I don't have to worry about anything else, just them.
Jake, that's the way it is. So you don't have to lock your door, and no one locks their door in my neighborhood. No one has to, but just if you go to the airport 17 miles away in San Jose and you park your car there, when you come back, something's missing on it. Someone's climbed underneath it. Like, they can't even protect cars at the airport anymore.
No.
Which to me is like a collapse of civilization. If you can't protect, like, the airport should be a secure place.
Yeah. You think with all the security inside the building, it would be outside.
Yeah, but someone will steal your catalytic converter or something like that. Hey, have you ever ridden your bike around the island? You personally? Like, just got on a bike? Can you do that? Is that something people do? Like, could you do that in an afternoon? Like, get 2 C4s and ride around the island?
Hell yeah, people do it. There's no speed limit on the island.
But I mean, on a bicycle. Like, could you do it on a bicycle?
Oh no, on a bike. So I've got my family. One of my distant cousins, Sam. He's type 1 diabetic. He's in a cycling team, professional cycling team. He's a very, very good cyclist. He can hold like 300 watts for 4 hours on a fucking C2 bike. It's insane. He can go around the island. I think they can get round in about 4 hours. There's a mountain on the island, and it's pretty hard going in a car, let alone on a bicycle. But yeah, no, there's like, I don't know if you've heard of him, Mark Cavendish.
Yeah.
So he's from the Isle of Man. So
really?
Yeah, he's the Manx Missile.
Isn't he like a stunt driver or stunt bicyclist? He does some like crazy shit too. Who is that?
He's won the most amount of stages at the Tour de France now. He's the record holder. Okay. So yeah. There's another guy from
there's a mountain on this island?
Yeah, sort of. See what it says A18 in the middle there, above where it says Isle of Man. It's sort of in that area. It's called Snaefell. But it's just above there. And it's not a proper mountain, let's face it. It's not too big, but I think it just about classifies. So you see where it says Snaefell Summit?
Yeah, okay.
That's the top of it. Katie and I, my wife, we've walked up it with the kids strapped to our back a few years ago. That was pretty good going.
Is this a trail here? This thing that looks like barbed wire?
No, that's a tram line. So you can get a tram up to the top. They got electric trams still going.
Wow.
Yeah. Do you know what? There's this real kind of juxtaposition on the island where you've got this beautiful scenery. It's insane. You've got the TT, which is like the bike races, where you've got the top of the range spec bikes that are way ahead of anything you've ever seen. And then the island itself is pretty much 1974, but to its credit, it's absolutely to its credit, it hasn't gone through all those phases of you're precious, your mum thinks you're the best, you think you're this, so that's what you are. It's still that conservative kind of feel about it within a community which is so strong.
Where do you live?
I live in a little village called Foxdale, which is sort of, if you zoom out, keep going down, down. It's near that red Niable Cafe. There, Foxdale.
And where's the big? Oh wow! So you live on the Ireland side. Where's the big hub? Is there a big city? Is there a capital?
Douglas. So
okay.
So that's the big city. But when we say big city, it's I think you've got about 8,000 people live there.
So your town's not even on this map.
Yeah, if you go,
I see it.
There you go. That's
look, yours is the place that has the bar.
Yeah, pretty much the Baltic Inn. Yeah, it sounds like Baltical sometimes.
So that's your life right there.
Yeah, that's me. That's me and my lovely little bubble in nowhere land.
Does the TT go down this road, this A3?
No. So you see, you go up a little bit. So the A1. So it starts at Douglas, and then It goes along the A1 to the west of the island. So it goes up that grey road to St John's, and then it goes north, Cronky, that's one of the fastest bits, Kirkmichael, Bluff, Sulby, through to Ramsey, and then up towards the Snaefell, the A18 in the middle of the island. So
and then down this thing.
that's the one over the mountain, and then all the way back down into Onchan, and then back. And then most of the laps, they do 3 or 5 laps on that.
Hey, how many people come for that?
So the biggest year, I think they had 120,000 extra people on the island.
So the population almost tripled.
Yeah.
And where does everyone sleep?
So number of places. A lot of people camp. So there's like big tent fields. Pretty much everyone. So there's I can't remember what they call it. The island, the government promote renting out like kind of like an Airbnb thing. So you go on holiday for the week. They subsidize your flights off the island. You rent out your house to bikers, and then when you get back, you get your house back and you get paid directly from the bikers. But the government kind of promote people to do that.
Do you ever do that? Do you ever leave the island and rent your house out?
No, no, we don't. We rent. So we wouldn't be able to anyway. But we have visitors every year. So people from like family and friends come over for the week.
Do they set tents up on your property?
No, we've got a spare room and we've got a couple of camp beds and stuff. So my family friends, they've got quite a big house. In their basement, they've got the purpose-built house. So they built it themselves about 30 years ago. They've got a purpose-built basement and they can fit 30 camp beds down there. They've got 3 toilet and bathrooms. My family friend.
Oh.
Friend of ours. So every year they charge as minimal as they can. So let's say it's $30 per night per rider. Yeah. And they have 30 there. You've got 900. Is that 900? Someone do the maths for me.
Yeah. You're good.
Whatever. So that's per night, and then it's over 2 weeks. So the income from that 2 weeks pays for their mortgage for like 6 months. Or 3 months, whatever it is.
God, they should be paying us to do this. I want to go there. I want to stay there for a few months and see what the fuck the lifestyle's like.
Well, Brad Pitt and Channing Tatum were here last year, and they were filming here. I think one of them
for a movie.
Yeah, I think it's. Did you watch the F1 series Drive to Survive?
I tried to.
It's a bit wanky.
I mean, it was good. The one I watched was good, but then it was like, okay, I've seen it.
Yeah,
that's the one, right? Where it's like all the guys are stressed out, and people, and like they show up that you meet all the managers and the pit crew, and yeah.
So I think they are making a version of that. I think for the TT or for like extreme sports. It was either that. I think one of them might be doing a film on the TT or something. But they kept it a bit hush hush when they were here. But they just filmed certain bits and pieces.
Where do you go to watch the TT?
A few spots really. We try and go to the bits where we can get out. Where we go there for an hour or so and then get out back home or go to the gym. Because if you're trapped on the inside of the course, you're not getting out all day. So you're trapped in
here.
Inside, you're trapped for the whole day.
Across the road.
No.
Okay.
No.
And if you're outside, you're trapped outside all day.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So if your house is inside, it's cool. But if your house is outside, you don't want to go inside.
No, pretty much. Yeah.
Is there a spot that's like the spot that's like, oh, this is the spot? A couple of them, I'm guessing.
Yeah, there's a few. So if you're after pure speed, you see that where it said Bluff right at the top between Bluff and Sulby. They can go over 200 mile an hour on the straight through there. So and seeing 200 mile an hour on 2 wheels is on a road with flint walls either side and like a tractor parked up. It's fucking mental. Like you can't.
The sounds must be just wonderful.
We look forward to it every year, just purely from the adrenal like hit that you get. I've got videos of me and my kids stood roadside, leaning our heads across, and the bikes must be a meter away from our heads, and they're doing like.
Someone report Jake. Okay, someone report Jake.
But everyone does it, so it's fine. But funny enough,
UK man, everyone's doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's doing it. Why not? But my wife was away for the first year when we were here, and I just sent her a video of my Donnie and Athena with their heads out and a bike going past. I just sent her a video when she was the other side of the world, and that went down a storm.
Hey, when I send you a text, does it cost you money?
No.
You don't have to pay for texts that come international?
No.
Because it's Wi-Fi, or just you just don't have, regardless, doesn't matter.
Just, yeah, I think as long as you're as I was gonna say, as long as you're receiving, it doesn't cost anything. If I was to send you a text, it might cost something extra, but I think iMessage sorts that out, doesn't it? I would have thought.
I don't know.
And we've also got
pay for my phone bill, so I have no fucking idea. I don't know how any of it works. I'm a Kevin. Yeah.
But we haven't got it ourselves, but we've got Starlink on the island, so we can get that done. And that sorts all that out as well, I think.
Did you see that was the best part of the Super Bowl? I don't know if you watched that show, but we had our big football game here, and then there was a commercial that basically you could get a Starlink phone service now.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then fuck you. Like,
yeah, everyone else is done.
Yeah, everyone else is done. Yeah, it's over. Game over, right? Why would you do anything besides Starlink? You don't ever have to have bad signal, nothing ever again. No.
It'd be like having a fax machine. It's like,
yeah, you're done.
Totally redundant. Didn't Xerox go down that route? As soon as emails came about or the internet came about, it was like Xerox just panned because it was just completely irrelevant.
Yeah, the fax went out. That's I'm surprised you know what a fax machine is. How old are you? 39?
Yeah, I'm 40 in about 4 weeks.
Okay, so you'll be 40 and I'll be 53. Let me do the math on that. 13 years. All right. So like I if I was a normal kid, I would have been going through puberty when you were born. But life had other plans for me. Let's make him wait till he's 16. Let's make it really hard on him.
How was that?
Puberty?
Looking back on that, do you think you found it hard at the time, or is the memory of what happened harder?
No, I've lived such an easy life. I was like just blissfully, I mean, just blissfully idiotic until I was 22 or 23. Just started taking my first journey inward. Listen, this is the perfect example. I remember in high school people using that word insecure, and I remember thinking, God, I don't even know what that means to be insecure. Like, there's absolutely nothing I'm insecure about. This is fucking insane. Why would you be insecure about anything? And then finally in college, I remember, I forget, it was like I was playing ping pong or frisbee or something, and I'm like, wow, I'm actually pretty good at this. And then I realized at that point, the reason why I didn't know what insecure was because I was insecure about everything.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? I had not one thing I was secure about. So how the fuck would I know what insecure is? I thought it was just this ridiculous notion, but really I was just one giant ball of insecurity.
So it's a little bit like yesterday when you asked about how turtles can breathe through their assholes.
Yeah.
So you'd been breathing.
I haven't fact checked that. That's just when some 7-year-old.
You've been breathing out of your asshole for 22 years, and then you realized that what you were smelling was shit.
And I had no idea.
Yeah, right.
Okay. And so just imagine what a good life that is. Just blissfully, I mean, like you never have to think. You don't have to do anything.
No.
My life was like Mr. Magoo. You know who that is? The guy who's almost always getting killed. He's like walking around and like something always his life. That's the way I lived my life.
My dad calls those people jellyfish.
Yeah, it was a jellyfish. Fine.
Yeah, they just sort of float around, going with the tide, not knowing what's going on.
Dude, it was amazing.
Yeah.
So puberty was great for me. I didn't have to deal with the shit most kids do. I didn't have a growth spurt or like, do you know what I mean? Like,
didn't get the acne.
Yeah, not really. Basically, at 5, I had a crush on my kindergarten teacher, Mrs. Allen, and then basically I just chased pussy for the next 25 years, and then then now I don't.
Good.
Yeah. Now I'm like you. I just want to just chill.
Yeah.
I just want to chill. Yeah. What does your wife do?
My wife, she's got 2 jobs. Well, she's got a couple. But her primary job is a swimming coach now. So she competed in synchronized swimming.
Mm.
She went to London Olympics and competed in 2012. She then coached in Rio in 2016, and then sort of retired from that sport for a while. Had the kids, but her, you know, from the age of her mum lives on the island as well. From the age of 6, she just wanted to be a mum. That's all she wanted to be. She just grew up wanting to be a mum. So I think if I asked her what her job is, she would say mum. But that doesn't pay for the bills, does it? So her job is a swimming coach, and she's just started doing synchronized swimming on the Isle of Man as well. So she's trying to promote that sport and get people in.
Yeah, can your kids do it?
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. Can you do it?
I mean, I can try.
Dude, you should have her coach you through some shit and put it on.
You know,
have you ever posted yourself on Instagram doing synchronized swimming? Like some of that upside down shit?
Honestly, when I first met her, I met her in the England Institute of Sport. So she was training for London, and I saw her in the gym and delts, traps, abs, legs.
Yeah.
Got ya, right? Clocked her straight away. Yeah. Did the English thing, asked her for a cup of tea in the cafe, went and did that. Then, here we are 13 years later and we're married to 2 kids. But our first holiday that we went on. So when I first met her, when she said synchronized swimming, in my head, I'm thinking frilly, flowery hats, dicking around in a pool, something I can easily do. That's just me as an early 20-year-old lad who thought I could do anything. Then you realize what they actually do, and it is mind-blowing. It's gymnastics in the water. The equivalent would be doing it's 4-minute routines, and you're out of the water, your head's out of the water for about 20 seconds of that.
I know, it's insane. I respect the shit out of synchronized swimming. It's crazy, and it's so fun to watch.
And then the big thing is they're not allowed to touch the floor. So people think you can push off the floor. All those throws are done treading water underwater. It's just phenomenal. So anyway, the first holiday we went,
a ridiculous rule for the sport.
You'd think they get more power, but it's a 3-meter pool, so it's deep.
Or for the performance, I wouldn't even say it's not a sport, right? It's more of a performance. It's like
it's a gymnastics. It's a gymnastic sport. So they've actually redefined it as artistic swimming to go in line with gymnastics at the Olympics.
Okay.
But the first holiday we went on, we went in the pool, and she tried teaching me what is effectively 1 + 1 in maths. Just like the most simple thing. Lay on your back and point 1 foot straight up in the air and see if you can just float. And the thing is, what you don't realize is by levering your foot up, your trunk goes down and you just sink.
Yeah.
But that is the 1 + 1. And that was the first and only time I have ever tried synchronized swimming. But my daughter's getting quite good. She's a gymnast, and she's applying that to the water now. So she's learning from her mum. But yeah.
Hey, do any dudes do synchronized swimming?
Yeah, and put it this way, I don't have to worry about them being around my wife.
Oh, right. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. They're men's men. They're men's men.
They are definitely men's men. But
because now that I think about it, I kind of think of them synchronized swimmers as like the Rockettes. You know what I mean? Or those women who like put their arm, but they're the water version of them. You know, like the women who like they kick their legs up and they do all that stuff on stage, like on Broadway, like Broadway dancers. But in the water.
The closest thing is gymnastics. So if you ever watch a gymnastics free routine, like on the floor, like what Simone Biles would be doing, imagine that as a team of 8 in the water, everyone having to synchronize up, choreographed, no faults, everything's perfectly, every kick, every throw, everything in synchro. So it is the closest thing. But yeah, when I think they're trying to evolve. So LA, they've introduced a mixed duet category. So there's going to be at the LA Games a male-female division, which is going to be insanely productive for the sport, because not only does it get more young boys into it, but also the power output from the male swimmers is so much higher. So the throws, the swims, the power is just going to be a lot better to watch.
So boys and girls are different.
Very different, yeah.
Is Jake wearing any bottoms or is he free balling?
You'll never know, Jan. I'll DM you a picture.
Have you ever met Jan?
Not in person. I speak to him about 10 million times a day. Me and Jan have got a special relationship. And also, we've got our own little show that we've just started a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, what is your show?
It's called the Outside the Box Show. And the reason behind it is because Jan and I have got quite specialized coaching. So we coach a lot of power sports. Jan does a lot of endurance and high roxy stuff. And we've also got a keen knowledge for CrossFit. So the post,
I don't see it on YouTube. Is it that new?
Yeah, it's literally like, I think we've done 4 shows. We had Athena Perez on it. We've had Ava Bisterfeld, Chris's daughter. We've got a couple of really high level GB powerlifters coming on soon. We've got a High Rocks world champ on there.
High Rocks world champ.
Yeah, not Hunter, not Hunter. It's is this guy called Nigel. He's in the Masters division. So it's a guy that Jon knows.
Okay.
But so the slant on that show.
I found it. Wow, Ava looks like whose daughter is that? She looks like Haley Adams kind of from this.
She's Chris Biesterfeld's daughter.
Oh, wow.
Mm.
Oh, he's a beautiful daughter. Congrats.
Honestly, she is an insane woman. Like what she's been through, what she's got going on for her mindset. Like she's breaking a lot of boundaries with how she is and what she's achieved with her hurdles. What do you know? The best thing that came out of that, she didn't talk about the hurdles as being hurdles. It was just pure opportunity.
That is cool. I've seen this new Instagram account.
Yeah, I commented on one of your posts yesterday about your Nano ones.
Okay.
That's probably what it is, but yeah.
Yeah, I saw this. Okay.
So what we're trying to do.
I saw this clip. Okay.
Oh, there you go. So yeah, what we're trying to do on it is talk about stuff that's literally outside the box. So non-specific CrossFit. So all the specialty pieces, all the bits that feed into the 10 fitness domains of CrossFit. What other sports feed into that? You know, we've got powerlifting, weightlifting, you've got high roxers, you've got dietitians, you've got people like Athena that have a very, very good knowledge base, but aren't necessarily seen by the media as being a top CrossFit coach, but they offer so much, they have so much value to give, and yet they're not necessarily on the front page of the media. So we kind of want to dive into that. And me and Jon just want to do it to learn and to talk to people, because it's so awesome hearing people that aren't necessarily involved in CrossFit. And how that's going to help us as coaches, you know?
Yeah, you know, someone you should consider having on is Buddy Lee.
Oh, the jump rope guy.
Yeah. I mean, basically, his story is crazy. He was basically an Olympian, and then got old, and then he used jump roping to get back to the Olympics again. He basically said, it's a crazy story. I don't want to fuck it up, but he's got a crazy story. And jump roping, basically, he thinks jump roping is like the most important thing to do if you're a fighter. And it took him to the Olympics, he claims. I mean, obviously, he's selling ropes too. You got to take it with a grain of salt. But he's a phenomenal man with crazy, insane energy. Just super energy.
Yeah, I remember seeing this stuff early on in CrossFit.
Yeah, he used to be around all the time.
Wonder what happened to him.
How often are you doing this?
We're doing it at the moment. We're trying to do it just once a week when Jon and I, because Jon's just leveled up. He's Mr. PT. He's the most popular PT in Scotland now. So we're doing one a week, just to sort of get people on that we really want to kind of chat to, do our research, and just talk to them about what their sport is. Because Jon and I are quite like entrenched in CrossFit and what we do, and it's just nice to hear something outside the box. You know, it's something that is linked to what we do, but isn't everything that we do. And that was the slant that we want to take on it.
I like your thumbnails, by the way. They look like movie. It looks like movie trailers or something.
That's Jon. That's Jon.
They're really cool.
Jon's so creative.
So were you joking, or is Jan really a PT?
That Jon's a very good PT.
Like if you hurt your back or something, you
Oh,
go.
sorry. So PT over here is personal trainer. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay. My next question is, does he do that move where he sticks his, the coccyx one? Have you seen that one? That one's crazy.
Yeah, I can't remember what that's called, but yeah, he sent me a few videos of him doing that. But he's got this special way of doing it with his whole fist.
Yeah.
It
You
gets a
don't
little bit further up.
you
Yeah.
don't feel a thing. Hey, why do you think when you were a child, do you remember your earliest appreciation for comedy? Like, did you have a comedian in your early years? You're like, wow, this is incredible.
Billy Connolly. I don't know if you know who Billy Connolly is. He's a
No, I'll
Scottish
look him up.
guy.
Okay, Billy Connolly.
Yeah. So it's Billy Connolly. He was the first stand-up that I watched that made sense.
Oh,
Um,
he's yeah, I know who this is. I
so
know who this is.
he
This guy's
he was one of the first real brutal British comics. There's this. I mean, bless him. He's a bit knackered now. I think he's got Alzheimer's.
yeah, he looks worked here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, he fucking insane talent. So there's him, and then as I got a bit older, like into my teens, that was when I discovered sort of the American stand-ups. So you've got like Raw and Delirious. They came about. I had them on tape.
Right.
But there's this special comedy that the Brits seem to have, which is kind of they flatten themselves. It's like derogatory towards themselves, and it's just harsh and it's funny. And there's this humor that we have in Britain, which is just we take the piss out of each other so relentlessly. You know, I might not see one of my mates from school for 20 years, and then I'll see him, and the first thing I will say to him is to bring up something that he cried about at school, or because it's funny.
Right.
And that's how we bond. You know, we bond over annihilating each other, and it just works. It's funny, and it's a very masculine trait, I think. And now with the exposure of the American comics, just on on your phone right here, right now, I can watch anything I want. I've been exposed to more of that from America, and it was probably there all along. But I think maybe the comics that were being promoted or backed or were zeitgeist weren't necessarily in that vein of comedy, but they're definitely out there now. Ricky Gervais is formative for me. So he grew up about 5 miles from where I grew up. He grew up in Reading, and I was in Maidenhead, which is about 5 miles away. The Office, the original Office, the one that was filmed in Slough, which is near us, that came out when I was 16.
That was filmed on the Isle of Man? Oh, no.
No, in England. Yeah. That was
you guys call it the mainland?
yeah. That was filmed when I was 16, and when you're 16, I think you're in that phase where you're trying to impress girls, you're trying to be funny, you're trying to find what works to, get knickers flying off. And for me, The Office came on telly, and I can recite that word for word now. It's formative. I used to fall asleep with it playing on in the background, and it's the sound of like the DVD background at the options. I'd wake up in the morning. Everything Office, the original one. I haven't really watched the American one. Apparently, I should. But Gervais's streak of comedy resonates. It just, whether it's cultural, whether it's whatever it is, whether it's his accent is very similar to mine, whatever it is, there's something in there that just I get. And that was from when I was 16. So for the last 24 years, that has been my main source of humor, and where I get a lot of my opinions from, I'd say, because I trust him so much with my head that what he says makes more sense to me. Whereas people that I find antagonistic or unfunny, there's almost like a wall that goes up. I don't want to listen to you about anything because I don't trust you with my head.
Whoa, this is a really fascinating idea. trust you with your head.
Which is why the appeal of Greg is there and forever will be for me.
Because you
Because
trust him with your
this thing that I carry around with me all the bloody time, and I've got my kids learning, and is part of their homeschooling every day. I trust that. I trust my head, but I'm also now.
Did you come up with that idea? Trust someone with their head, trust you with your head?
Just now, yeah.
Because the first time you said it, like, I don't know, 2 minutes ago, I didn't understand it, and the second time you said it, I got it. Trust someone with your head. Because I trust my wife with my emotions, right? Like, so if she's having a bad day, like I feel it. You know what I mean? Or if something's bothering her, I feel it. Like I get lost in her shit, right? And because I just completely trust her, with that part of me. But that's fascinating. Trust someone, and that's kind of what's happened in society. We've society's broken in places where we're trusting different people with our heads, and we're learning how not to trust people, where there was a whole generation that just trusted everything that came from devices, and now that there's a divide. There's people who are like, wait a second, you can't trust your head with this device. Or your head can't trust this device.
There's too many lies coming out of it. And I think that's why it's so gut-wrenching when people that you've done that with say the wrong thing, or say something that you know not to be right, because you've allowed them to with you, you've trusted them with your mind, and your mind, you sort of sublet that part of your head, that decision making, for that you give that to them, you give them that power in your mind, and then they say something silly or wrong or something that goes against your values, and then you think, what the fuck have you done? You just ruined it for me now. So
Wow.
And then that makes me,
or you let them kind of push your brain out. You come at a crossroads, right? You're like, hey, I can stretch and make room for you, and grow, or I can be like, hey, you're a douche, and boot you.
But I guess it's like with your wife, and why it's so different with your kids, because your wife, when they say something silly or they make a suggestion and it's just ridiculous, you've got a few options there. With your kids, when they say something, when they do something silly, you're the one that's been trusted in their mind.
Right.
So the roles reversed there.
Wow. Hey, that's why, like, wow, God, you're explaining so much to me. And that's why people want stable parents.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, dude, you want to dye your hair, punch a hole in your dick, fucking drink and drive. Like, do that when you're 20. Go fucking nuts. Do it. You know what I mean? You want to wear, like the look is to wear your bra now on the outside and have just all the crazy shit kids are doing. But once you have kids, your kid just wants fucking stability.
Yeah.
They trust you in their head. Like, just calm down. Just shower, put on some clothes. You know what I mean? Stand up straight. Like, don't spend your time at CVS. Like, don't let your insecurities. Like, I never want to hear, like you never want your daughter to hear your wife say, you've been dating your wife. And I'm not saying you, but just people in general. You've been dating your wife since you're 18. You know that, she gets concerned if her weight goes over 145. She knows it's stupid. You know it's stupid. But like you've been dealing with it. But you don't want your kids to hear her say that, because they'll pick that up as normal, right? And it's like, you don't judge your wife for it. She's dealing with her shit as a kid, and we're all dealing with our shit. But you got to just like start pushing. Like, I don't like to take my shirt off in public, but first thing I do when I go to the beach, if my kids are around, I act fucking cool as shit about it.
Yeah.
I do not want them to pick that up from me.
No.
What a fucking stupid, like, hey, beef. Because at the end of the day, we've all seen the guy who gets all the pussy, who has like a horrible body and fucking, but he's just completely comfortable with himself. You're like, what the fuck is going on here?
Well, it's like our fears, isn't it? You the worst thing in the world, not the worst thing in the world, it's up there, probably top 20, is when you hear insecurities coming out of your kid.
Yes.
You know it come from you.
Yes, horrible.
And you think, what the fuck have I done?
Yes, horrible.
And so for me, I hate flying. Like getting on the plane.
Yeah.
It's a control thing. You can psychoanalyze all you want. I fucking hate flying, but I'll do it.
Yeah.
But when the kids are around me, I love flying. It's the best thing ever. It's exciting. We're going on holiday. I love it. But it's an act. It's this role. It's my dad tried to explain something to me a while ago, and I didn't quite get it at the time. But he said, when you're single, when you don't have kids, you're the color purple. You're half your mum, half your dad. You're red and you're blue. As soon as you have kids, you have to be red or blue again. You don't get to be purple anymore.
Oh,
Your kids become the purple, so you're half of them now.
yeah.
And this is again why it's a bit of a tangent, but it's why it's really important that you do spend time with your partner on your own without the kids around. You have to remind yourself that you're a partner as well, not just a parent. You
Right.
need that special time as a pair, which is the conclusion that Kate and I came to recently, and why we're going across to Dublin for 2 nights.
When my kids hear me and my wife talk like adults, sometimes they freak out. And I have to tell them like they think we're fighting.
Yeah.
And we're not fighting.
No.
We're hashing some shit out.
Mm.
And I have to be like, "Yo, dude, shut the fuck up. This is my
Yeah.
fucking girlfriend now. Like this is like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
stand down, dude. Like me and
Yeah.
like I made you with this lady. We have our own relationship too. It's a trip for them.
Yeah.
Like, shit
Yeah,
will get intense. I mean, me and my wife know how to navigate it, you know what I mean? Just
Mm.
around anything. She'll be like, "That person said that." I'm like, "No, this person said that. This is how I understand it." And we'll be talking it out and, like, laser in on each other, you know what I mean? You're in the kitchen, you're standing toe to toe with your wife, and you guys are, like, working through something. Nothing heavy, like, you know, but just, like, you're working through something, and, man, they freak out. And,
Yeah.
'cause they're not used to you being, what did you call it?
No.
Red and blue. They're
Yeah.
used to you being,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
So do you call Hayley mum or a name to the kid when you're in front of the kids? Do you refer to her as that name rather than Hayley?
Uh, Rarely, like, in certain so, like, if she comes home with the kids, like,
Yeah.
let's say I'm at home right now, and she came and I was in the house, and she came home with the kids, I might say, "Hi, boys. Hi, mom." But I refer to her as Haley.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and she refers to me as, Sevon. I don't really say, if I actually, I don't even know if I do that at all. What I do say, though, is I'll say, I don't say, "Hey, is Haley home?"
Yeah, yeah.
But if I come in the house and the boys are there, I'll be like, I don't say, "Where's Haley?" I say, "Where's your mom?"
Yeah.
But I don't call her mom. I mean, they see me all over her too. Like,
Yeah.
I can't keep my hands off her. I mean, they see me like, you know,
Yeah, that's good. That's
yeah,
good.
like they know. Like, I refer to her as my girlfriend. Like, if they're like, I'm like, "Okay, I need time with my girlfriend, beat it." You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Get out my room.
Yeah.
Um, okay.
Yeah, I call her mommy, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll have to ask my wife, I'll have to pay attention to that. I don't think I do that.
Okay. Because
Um,
we do that. We refer to each other as mummy and daddy in front of the kids.
yeah, we don't have that word really, mommy.
No.
In the
No.
in America, would be a frowned upon word. But I do have English friends who the son does call the mom mommy. Mummy.
So
Mummy.
yeah, but there's a but so I probably it will happen soon. They will stop mummy and daddy. It'll be mum and dad. So there's
Okay.
this transition away from that sort of
Okay.
baby language. So it'll be mum and dad. But yeah, we do that. We're mummy and daddy to them. But every now and again, the only reason I brought that up was the every now and again, if I need to be heard, I will say Katie. And when I say Katie,
They know.
they stand to attention. They know that something's not quite right. So it's nice. It's
It's like
nice.
when you're in school and you know the speaker you have up in the corner and the principal talks?
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
once in a while that all the classrooms here, it's like that?
Yeah. So we've adopted this thing, rightly or wrongly, that mummy is the law and daddy's the police.
Oh.
So
Oh.
mummy sets the tone, she sets the rules for the house,
Yeah.
and I enforce them.
Yeah.
So that's this kind of role we've done.
Yeah, that
And
happens in my house too.
yeah,
I think we both set the laws, but if my wife is has set a law and they're breaking the law, you know, like, "Hey,
yeah,
hey, we're leaving in 5 minutes, everyone go get dressed." and it's not being done. And if I'm like just in the other room, you know, I hear her say it 3 times. I come in and start fucking dudes up.
Yeah, I've polished that down to an art now. I just need to walk a little bit harder on the floor, and then they can hear me coming, and then they sort stuff out. So I don't actually have to do much.
Yeah.
But there's this the cues, the verbal cues have changed over time because they kind of wear off after a while. So I'm as the coach in me tries to kind of switch that up a little bit.
Oh, that's advice.
Over the last few months, I've got back to a whistle. So if they hear, then they'll both say it's Pavlovian. It'll go, yes. And I know that I've got their attention with a whistle now. So I'm sure in a few months it'll be something different. But
one of my kids has completely cracked the code. He just knows to say, they call me Heidi. That's father. Anytime I say anything, he just goes, yes, Heidi. And that completely disarms me.
Yeah.
I'm completely disarmed.
Yeah.
I could be just furious. Like, are you guys fucking kidding me? You left all this shit outside overnight? Yes, Heidi, we'll take care of it. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm done.
It deflates the tire.
I'm like, I have another 5 minutes of yelling to do at you, and you just took all the air out of the room. Like, I got nothing. I just walked away. I got nothing. You win. The other two are like, what kind of magic is that?
Yeah. And do you know what? I know obviously you've got 3 boys, but I've got a daughter.
Yeah.
And she has that effect. And my son
right into your eyes and say something, and you start like, ooh.
And my son knows it.
Yeah.
So he's a mummy's boy. He'll play up to Katie. My daughter will play up to me.
Yeah.
But Katie and I know this, so we hand the other kid to the other person for a little while.
Yeah. Yeah.
When it gets too obvious that they're managing to worm their way out of stuff, we just swap them over, and I'll have the boy, and she'll have the girl. But yeah,
I'm pretty much the dog meat in the house. I'm like second. Like, so if like there's 2, like if my wife's sitting on the couch, there's 3 boys, and one sits on one side of her and one sits on the other, and the third one walks in, he'll be like, and then comes sit on my lap, you know.
Yeah.
If one of the dudes gets up from the mom, like to go to the bathroom and get something to eat, the other boy will run in, and then he'll come back and like, fuck.
Yeah.
I'm low on the I'd take it. There's 3. I'd take the scraps. I'd take
it. That must be a totally different dynamic though, because at no point did you have 2, did you?
No, we had 1. But basically what happened is we had 1, and she did everything for the first, 18 months. Like, I didn't do shit, right? Like literally nothing. And just feed the wife, right?
Yep.
And just feed. And then she had the twins.
Yeah.
And then I got that one I'm like you, I homeschools. So I was a stay-at-home dad. I worked for CrossFit, but and I basically had them all the time, like for a year. And me and that dude just
bond.
Me and him are so tight because of that. And that was probably hard on her too, because she had to, but that was awesome. When the second kid came, if you're a dad and the second kid comes, clear your calendar and bond, because it is incredible. I mean, we did everything together. I always had them. You know what I mean? Whether I was drinking at the fucking outside pub or exercise. I mean, I took him everywhere. It was cool. Yeah. And when they're not around mom, they're cool as shit.
Yeah.
There's they're like ducks. They just follow you around everywhere. You could take them anywhere. Yeah. They're like that's like, the phenomenon. You take your kids grocery shopping and mom looks out for them. But you go grocery shopping and you're shopping, and it's like, they're like, fuck, we better not lose sight of dad. You know what I mean? They're like, he's on a mission, and you don't have to say shit to him. They're like running down the aisles, chasing you, and they're like, and you're just like, I'm not talking to you.
Yeah, that it's strange how accurate that is.
Yeah, it's so cool.
I hate shopping. So it's literally, I've got a list. I'll write it down in order of the shop layout.
Yeah.
So you're not getting to the bread aisle and then going,
wow,
fuck,
that's some autism. You do it in the order of the layout. That's impressive. That's some Andrew Hiller shit. Wow.
I just hate people.
Yeah.
And because
Me too. I mean, I love people, but I just hate them.
Yeah. I only talk to people that I actually value. Like anyone that I don't value, I just ta-ta, see you later. Just
What about that statement? People who don't talk to strangers don't talk to angels. Don't you feel like that there's some truth to that? Like you talk to a stranger every once in a while, and you're like, wow, this was
yeah,
amazing.
but people that don't talk to strangers don't talk to pedophiles either.
All right, all right.
So, no, I agree. I agree with you
What would
to an
happen if
extent.
there was a pedo on the island? Would they
There's,
burn his
there's
house down?
there's been a couple, but yeah, they so we've got the law on the island is that even if you get arrested on suspicion of something, or you get arrested overnight, the journalists get told and your name gets posted in the papers the next day. There's no anonymity, so people know and everyone knows each other. So the last murder I think on the island there was one in 2002, and then the last one before that was in 1991 or something. There's like one murder every 25 years or something.
That's awesome. That must be so exciting. Did you live on the island when that happened?
No,
Oh,
no.
that must be amazing.
I've seen a few bikers crash and splat, but other than that, it's yeah.
When I was I was visiting family a couple times. I've been to Lebanon, and I was in Beirut visiting some family, and we walked, and it's kind of like New York City. The homes were like stacked, like we call them brownstones, or the UK, London's like that too. It's like these
Yeah.
2 or 3 story homes. Some are like one family, some it's 3 families, but they're all piled in. And we walked by this one, and it was completely, burnt. You could tell it had been gutted and burned. And I said, "Hey, what happened there?" And he said, "That guy was a pedophile, and the neighborhood got together, and they parked their cars on the end of the street so the fire department couldn't come, and then they nailed his front door shut, and they lit the fucking house on fire." I was like, "Wha" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Dude, that's why there's no crime here. Like, you could walk around, it's like you could walk around Beirut 24 hours a day, no one robs you." He goes, "Dude, everyone knows that,
Yeah.
even though it's a city of 1,000,000 people, in your
Yeah.
neighborhood, if you fuck around, like,
Yeah. So
you really do find out."
you can explore that, and you look to the extremes where that heads. Do you know what I mean? So I think that you have to be careful with that. You got the obviously
Right, right.
American.
You're just burning all the Jews.
Well, one day it could happen. Yeah,
Or
it
just
does
the whole
happen.
family, the Chapmans. Yeah, the Chapmans are bad people. It's
Yeah.
Thanksgiving,
See you
let's
later.
door shut.
Yeah, but then the flip side of it, you look at China. There is no theft in the Chinese cities, because if you are caught stealing, you know where you head. You go to an internment camp. So
Yes.
no one steals a damn thing. You can leave your iPad on the on the trains. You
Yeah.
leave it there. You come back a day later, that thing is still there
Right.
because of the fear. Now you could argue that's a good thing, but then if the wrong people get hold of those laws and the wrong people take that on board, then look what happens. You get sent you get sent to camps for, you know.
The UAE's like that too, United Arab Emirates.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, I've got
no.
a lot of friends that go there.
Yeah, just chop your hands off. Like, you could leave your wallet anywhere. Like,
Yeah.
the guy told me that you could leave a wheelbarrow there with $1,000,000 in cash. He said no one would touch it.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
believe
because
it.
they know.
It felt like it.
Yeah. There was I can't remember if it was on here or not, but there's this young British lad from London. He was in Dubai a few months ago on holiday with his family. He was 18 and he met a 17-year-old girl and they had sex. And the
Was she a local
girls,
girl or a tourist
no,
also?
from England as well.
Mhm.
Her family flew home. Her dad found out and rang the Dubai police, told them, then they arrested the lad and he's in jail now for a year.
I thought in Dubai you could have sex with 6-year-old girls. What's
You
the
got to be
crime?
married first.
Oh,
It's
oh,
outside of wedlock.
wow.
Yeah. So
Wow.
there are these rules, and again, like on the surface, they can be used for good, but then it's like hate speech laws. you know, that like on the surface it sounds great, but then you actually look at where it leads, and if the wrong people get hold of it, you're heading down a slippery slope. You're
Hates
better off.
Yeah, we live with too many crazy people to have anything like that.
Yeah, yeah. But that's a good thing.
I was just looking. Grand Isle woman sentenced to life in prison in cold case murder. Jefferson Parish judge. Do you guys have a place there called Jefferson Parish?
Possibly. Can't remember. When was this?
Is it called the Grand Isle? Grand Isle man? No,
No.
I must be somewhere else. Skyman murdered brother-in-law.
That's Skye. So the Isle of Skye is a different island. There's like the Scottish Isles as well. There's like Jon will correct me here, but I think there's like 100 islands around Scotland that are like Isle of this, Isle of that. So.
And yours has an independence that's kind of unprecedented with the other islands.
Yeah.
You have a Chinese food restaurant?
Yep.
Do you have Chinese people there?
A couple. Yeah.
Like, do they have
again? No.
They speak English. Sound like you?
No. Hey, sorry.
They speak English and sound like you?
A couple of them roll their R's, but you know, over time, everyone just amalgamates and kind of gets on, because again, the one thing that is good over here is you've got such national pride. People move over here, they have to join in with that, or they're ostracized and they don't stay for very long and then they fuck off. So because there's no divisions, and we've seen it in the UK, and you've talked about it countless times. Once you start telling people that they are something, they then gravitate towards feeling that way. Over here, everyone is from the Isle of Man, what we call Manx. Everyone's Manx. When you're here, you're one of us. You don't have to identify as a fucking this or a that.
Oh, okay. I like that. Are there any black people there?
Yeah.
And they're Manx too. Everyone's a Manx. Manx Chinese,
everyone,
Manx.
And like I said earlier, to its credit, it's about 30 years behind. We haven't had this ideology, this politics of you are this, therefore I'm going to treat you like this. It's you're one of us. Let's just crack on and deal with shit. So you're not getting people told that they need this help, or they want, because you look like this or are like this, then we'll treat you differently. It's, are you going to be like us? Cool, you're one of us. Are you not going to be one of us? Right, off you fuck. There's a saying, there's a boat in the morning. You can get on it. If you don't like it here, you can leave. It's that simple. And there's not much other option.
God, I love it. I'm looking like so here's a house for 65,000.
That's a garage.
Oh. All right, here's a coffee shop. Oh, that's just like, oh no. Okay, let me see what the cheapest. One bedroom apartment for sale. Oh, we call those condos.
Yeah, that's in the city center. Let's call it city. But yeah,
Really?
1 bedroom.
Look, there's a Rover there and a Porsche there. So there's some really rich people who like on the island.
Yeah, there's a few, but again, like,
and do people like them or do people resent them?
Yeah, no one resents them because they pay a lot of tax.
Right.
So there's a lot of
that's a huge building for the Isle of Man. That thing's huge.
There's a lot of them on the coastal. So Ramsey is up north of the island. There's a lot of that. That's where people go to die, basically. It's like the retirement town on the island. There's a CrossFit gym up there as well. But yeah, I mean, there's so much variety on the island, like from here to there. There's a lot of what we call thurrocks, a lot of abandoned old houses.
Like this?
Yeah, that would be an abandoned one that, you could pick up, but then you probably got to put in $100,000 of renovation work and stuff. So there's a lot of variety. So people can come and do what they want with whatever budget they've got. But there's a lot of opportunity here for people with different ideas. So if you've got a unique idea and you come over here, the island will embrace you and will really try and make it work, which is lovely, which you don't get in the UK.
Are there cows on the island?
Yeah, loads. I'm looking at some now, actually.
So give me an example of like someone. So like if you wanted to raise your own cows, skin the leather, and make wallets and export them from the Isle of Man, people would be supportive of that, of you starting your little
Yeah.
like, leather making operation on the island.
The government have got a small business scheme where they'll give you tax free for the first 2 years, no national insurance, and they'll give you grant money towards setting up small businesses.
Oh, I like this place. 3-bedroom detached house for sale.
Looks all
Hey,
right.
so it's not cheap.
No, it's not that. It's a lot cheaper than where I was before. Put it that way. So I was in Greater London, and coming here was a massive saving in
Right.
terms of general day to day. But it's the convenience factor. When you live 10 minutes from central London, everything is on your front door. But same day Amazon deliveries, this, that, and the other. But I would sacrifice that 10 times for the type of life that I've got here now.
But I'm guessing like I'm looking at all these places and they're still all
Mm.
condos. If you want a house with a yard, it's still gonna be 500,000 pounds.
Yeah, about that. Yeah. I think we were about I think there's $1.1 to the pound at the moment, I think. So it's pretty similar in terms of numbers.
And is the TTT, Jake, the only like is that like what time of year is that?
So that's May. So it's the last week of May and the first week of June.
And is the rain
Um,
done by then?
yeah, so the reason they have it then is because looking at the meteorological data from the last sort of 100 years, that's the driest fortnight we have on the calendar. So that's why they've done it then. And so 3 years ago we had like a heat wave for those whole 2 weeks, and it was just insane. Like the atmosphere was amazing. But the TT is the biggest event. We've got another bike race for amateurs a month later, month and a half later in August, called the Grand Prix, which is where you could go there with a bike and do the course.
Okay.
I wouldn't suggest it, but
No, hell, Tom did no. So 100 if 120,000 people come there and they each spend, let's say they bring $1,000 just to make it easy. So that's 30. Let me see. That's 120,000, and then you add 3 zeros to that. That's $120 million. So that's a huge boon to the economy, right? So that's like really cool. That's like a fun time. Everyone the month before stocks up. Everyone's stocking up on sandwiches and eggs, and it's on like Donkey Kong.
Yeah, and everyone on the island sort of looks forward to it. It's like a carnival atmosphere for 2 weeks. And all the businesses. So do you have half terms in the schools over there? So you have like
Semesters?
So halfway through the semester you have a week off.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Do you have them? I don't know. But we call them a half term. So we have our 3 terms of the year. Within halfway through, you have a week off. The kids have a week's break. So the island puts their week break during the TT. So the schools are shut basically over that period of time. It just works. It's been 120 years, I think now they've been doing it. So it's the only years they had off were World War II and fucking COVID.
Did the Isle of Man do COVID?
Oh man, they nailed it. They literally just went, right, borders up, no boats, no planes, see you in a year.
Oh, so you guys just chilled?
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
They cracked on. Good as new. Bob's your uncle.
Bob's your uncle there? Is that yours? Does that belong to you guys, or is
You know what? I don't know.
Oh.
I really don't know. It could be.
I can't believe how many places are for sale on the island. There's like it's a robust there's just on this website alone there's 600 homes for sale. 600 pieces of property for sale.
Yeah. There's quite like I said, there's that aging population, not Asian, aging. And I think rather than inherit the money or keep the house, I think a lot of the kids that inherit them just sell them. But yeah, that's probably why. But I don't know. Christ knows.
Hey, if you want something done, is it hard to find? Like in my town, even though I live, 17 miles from a big city, if I wanted someone to paint my house, it would be very hard to find someone who's good at it.
Right. Okay.
Like, there's so many, there's so few good. If you want a
Mm.
plumber, it's hard to find a good one. If you want an electrician, it's hard to find a good one.
Yeah.
It's always because everyone's just trying to hustle and make ends meet. Is it like
Right.
that there? It's hard to find talented people?
Well, I'll be honest. I'm going to quote you here.
Yeah.
I just go to the CrossFit community and just
Oh,
say, "Does anyone know who the best painter is?" And they'll be around.
yeah.
So it's for me, it's really simple and straightforward. But no, we don't have a shortage of like labor or specialities or like tradesmen. It's we had a really big storm about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and there's tons of trees down, the phone lines down, the roads shut. Within over one night, it was all resolved and sorted. The infrastructure system here is insane. There's no potholes on the roads. The roads are kept immaculate. Everything's done. The fire brigade, the fire service, the police, they all get discounted memberships at the CrossFit gyms. The captains of all of them are CrossFitters. Like, I've heard about you talk about it all the time, but I honestly, if my house was on fire, I wouldn't worry too much, because I know that half the people that are coming, I coach at CrossFit, and I know how fit they are.
We have these islands off the coast of California. I don't know if they're off the coast of California, but they're out in the middle of the Pacific, the Hawaiian Islands.
Yes.
And there's billions in revenue there.
Right.
And the infrastructure is complete. I mean, it is a disaster. Like trying to drive around those islands like Maui or Hawaii,
Right.
potholes everywhere, sections that aren't paved.
Mm.
The infrastructure is a complete fucking disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy how
Which
well.
is a shame. I think that's just people resting on their laurels. The money not going to the right places, maybe.
Look at Seth's over there. Jump ship. You don't say. I mean, does that, like, dude? They have places on these islands. Like, these are like first world fucking islands.
Yeah.
They have places on these islands where it's like, for years, like a piece of road broke down, like on a main thoroughfare where it used to be 2 lanes, and now
Right.
they just put in stoplights with generators, and now people take turns going. And it causes these insane traffic jams, and they'll leave shit like that for years there.
Is that a shortage? Is that a shortage of work, like laborers, like people able to do the job?
No, it's just it's just pure corruption. Oh, I just saw.
That's a shame.
Did I see a dog in my backyard? That would be weird. Do you own a dog? Are there dogs?
No. I used to have one before we had kids, and it got run over on our honeymoon. We gave it to someone to look after, and the little shit got ran over and killed when we were away on our honeymoon.
Are you allowed to have dogs on the island?
Yeah. There are loads. People love having dogs over here.
Are you gonna get one?
It's hassle, innit? At the moment, I can't be bothered. It's just one more thing to think about and just care about. Maybe when my kids grow up and don't want to see me anymore, I might get one. But
This podcast that you're doing with Jan Outside the Box, is this same time every week?
Yeah, kind of. So for us, it's Sunday night for us. So it's sort of like
Sunday midday for us.
Yeah, about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon for you guys.
You're 8 hours ahead of me. What time is it where you're at?
Yeah, it is 4:30.
Okay, so it's 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 1:30, 2:30, 3:30, 4:30. Okay, yeah. So you're exactly 8 hours ahead.
Yeah.
Do you like doing the podcast? Does it feel like too much work already? Like, Hiller and I tried to do Binge Bros, but I think it got like he doesn't have the time to do it. I don't think.
So I'm chomping at the bit to do more.
You are.
So yeah. So I really enjoy it. Now I've historically been, one of the reasons I moved to the Isle of Man was just I wanted to hide away and not be near anyone because I hate people. But I've got too comfortable with that, I think. And I hate talking about qualities and things that I do, and it's gross.
What's the word you use? Qualities?
Qualities, yeah. So values, quality, so traits that you have. Like, people talk about bloody themselves all the time about me.
Mm-hmm.
I think when you work in a CrossFit gym and all you do every day for 8 to 10 hours is hear people complaining and moaning about why they can't do something. Your job you're a magician. You turn shit people into good people, right? And the way that you do that is to sort their heads out.
Yeah.
So you're doing that constantly, every day, every day, every day, every day. By the time you get home, you don't really want to think or hear about complaining or moaning or talk about yourself, because all you hear people do as a PT is talk about themselves. That's your job. You're a therapist. You're getting them to express themselves, to change themselves. Once you've done that enough hours in the day, the last thing that you want to do is sound like they did.
Right.
Like, you become numb to that, and you just you don't want to talk about that kind of shit. But at this point, I've been doing CrossFit since 2012. I've got enough experience and knowledge now that I can just refer to other people's experiences, not my own.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
So I've kind of like hacked it. I don't have to talk about myself anymore. I can talk about other people, because I've coached thousands of people, and I've ticked every box of knowledge base there. And I know what I enjoy coaching. I hate coaching the sport of fitness.
Okay.
But I still to this day really enjoy people getting their first pull up, or coming in having lost their 50th pound on their journey, or finally realizing how to scale properly. Little wins like that really light up my job. That's what I'm in it for. I know I could earn a lot more money doing other stuff, but genuinely, I don't need or want more money than I'm getting. So back to your question, I think I'm at a point now where I want to talk to people and I want to share experiences. And that's why I want to do more of this, because I'm at a point now where I feel comfortable doing it. Could have jumped on the bandwagon earlier. I could have been doing it, but it would have been a bit false. It wouldn't have been something I do. And also, I've got a lot of time on my hands now. Ironically, homeschooling has given me more time. People seem to think that they won't have any time. Do you ever get asked by people, how can you do that? Don't you need space? Does it get annoying being with them so long? I couldn't do that. I couldn't be around my kids all the time. Do you get that?
All of that.
Do you take pride when you answer it and say no?
Too much.
Yeah.
Too much. Yeah, I could just, I mean, as you know from listening to the show, I could just brag about what a great dad and how great my kids are just all fucking day. It's the big thing for me, I don't know if it was Jeremy Kinnick or someone, basically, when I first started homeschooling, this is really true. This is really true. I basically learned how to parent from watching Travis Bajent parent Tyson Bajent. And I wasn't around them that much, maybe like, 20 hours total over, 5 years. But I just saw how he treated his kids. I'm like, that's fucking awesome. And because he just treats them like, like something between like how you treat your dog and a human, just really blunt. Just stay on them. And he's very physical too. And I grew up very physical too. You know what I mean? Just like lots of physical love and attention. And then Jeremy Kinnick's, like, I was so like, oh my God, I'm not smart enough to teach my kids. And then somehow I figured that homeschooling is you're just raising your kids. I can raise, like, people will still say, hey, if you get a dog, you need a dog trainer. I had 3 Great Danes and I was homeless. I didn't need a dog trainer. I just raised my dogs. If you just spend time with your dogs, a lot of time, your dog and you will. And so that's it. That's all you have to do. You just have to spend a shitload of time with your kids. And they learn all that shit. They learn everything they need to know. It's crazy.
It's progressive overload. It's Milo, isn't it? It's you people think when you homeschool that you're teaching college kids. You're teaching a fucking 5-year-old. You've got to teach him how to wipe his ass and how to jump and how to count to 10. You gradually get smarter as you are schooling them. You're not teaching them what you're learning in 12th grade. You're teaching them at their age, and you adapt and you learn. Is there anything that you ever feel, not necessarily now because you've been doing it long enough, but is there any sense of, do you ever get any feeling of guilt towards anything for how you homeschool them? Not necessarily guilt. Guilt might be the wrong word. Do you think they miss out on anything?
There's things that I wish. So there's this statement, there's no lazy kids, there's only lazy parents.
Yeah.
And so the other day, I can't remember, it was 6:30. I came home, went into the living room and I sat down in my rocking chair and I put my feet up and I pulled my phone out and I'm like, "Oh, this is so nice." I tucked the pillow behind my lower back, you know, all the old man shit. I'm like, "Yeah." I got my feet up, I got a glass of water next to me, and, I'm just so happy. And then I can hear the boys, like,
Yeah.
fucking off somewhere, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I
Yeah.
was like, I have
Yeah.
to engage. Like, I did not
Yeah.
want to engage them, but I had to. And with it,
Yeah.
and so basically we played this game where we took a 3-pound D-ball and we sat in a circle and we threw it at each other and you had to catch it with one hand. And we did that for an hour and it was you know what I mean? It was
Mm.
amazing, way better
Yeah.
than sitting in my chair and resting.
Yeah.
But no, I don't. I mean, people say the craziest shit, and I get it because I used to be there too. Like, people will be like, "How does your kid get socialized?" And I wanna
Fucking
be like, "Dude, my kids are so much better socialized than you. My kids go to
yeah.
a jujitsu fighting class every single day with kids who are 4 years old to
Yeah.
16 years old. My
Yeah.
and your kids sit in a classroom with
Yeah.
only the same age demographic
Yeah.
all fucking day. So,
Yeah.
I do you remember when I don't know if you when I went to, like, a normal traditional public school, and
Yeah.
so adults were like, anyone out of your age was weird.
Yeah.
Older, younger adults, like,
Yeah.
and so my kids aren't like that at all. They
No.
treat, like, everyone the same. They
Yeah.
treat a 4-year-old with the same respect they treat, like, a
Yeah.
55-year-old.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah. Yeah.
people here on planet Earth.
Yeah.
And, they're like, yeah, there's so many things that I don't know. Do you ever feel guilty for anything?
I think probably guilty was probably the wrong word, but as close to it as I can get as a feeling. I think sometimes there's if they're not up to much, I feel if they were at school, they would probably be doing something. So I need to.
Right, right. Okay, so that touched on what I was saying too. Like, if they're
So
not yeah,
there might be a gap of a half an hour where you're just like, do you know what? Go and fucking kick a ball outside, or go out on your bike, or go and climb a tree and fall out of it, and we'll go to hospital. Or there'll be something that I need to like. I need to keep them busy. And there's sometimes where they're just sat on the sofa. Like last Tuesday, they did jujitsu for an hour. They went swimming for an hour and a half with their mum, and then gymnastics for 3 hours. So it's 5 hours of activity in one day.
yeah, that's
The
amazing.
fo- the full and obviously school, you know, we did maths and reading and whatnot, but we filled the day. The next day they only had boxing and they went to CrossFit, so it was 2 hours.
Yeah,
And then halfway through the day I'm thinking I should be doing something now, because but it's because there's gaps in the day.
yeah,
I feel like I should be doing something with them all the time, but I'm adjusting to that.
yeah,
There's this feeling
yeah,
that I've got to be busy all the time with them, but that's just not life. That's not how it is. So it might be, it's just like you said, it's lazy parents. It's right, have everything set up. So now I've got a folder on a Sunday afternoon. I sit down, I print off every day of the week, Monday to Friday. I print off schoolwork for them to do downstairs, whether at the gym. So I go and train for an hour. They'll sit and they'll do science or maths or reading for an hour while I'm there.
You take 'em to the gym with you?
Yeah, yeah, they're at the gym 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
So they'll sit there, but they were born and raised in gyms. Like quite literally, my wife bought the kids when each of them were born. That day, the hospital was about 10 minutes away from the gym. She made sure that she got to the gym and they sat there as a newborn listening to barbells. And they grew up in gyms. They grew up, and they're not jumpy little shits now. You know those kids that go "Boo!" and like jump all the time. They've almost like numbed to loud noises. They don't respond to it. They're not
Yeah,
jumpy kids.
yeah,
And things like jiu-jitsu, it's focus, it's emotional focus. You know, my son's got this tendency to, or it did have, to not lash out, but react emotionally to things. If he couldn't do something, he'd get quite frustrated. And jiu-jitsu, he's got a coach called Miles, who's a very, very good guy. he sat down. Donnie lost his rag a little bit early on in jiu-jitsu, and because his sister's a lot older, 2 years younger, she's very flexible. She can get into positions, you know, and tie him down and make him tap.
And she's 2 years younger. And she's 2 years younger.
Older. She's 2 years older.
Yeah. Okay.
So she got him, and he had to tap. And Miles saw on his face that he was frustrated as a 5-year-old. He could sense that in him, and he sat him down. And I was sat in the corner, back against the pads, just sitting there. And Miles said, "Donnie, what's up?" And Donnie said, "I don't know." And he said, "Well, talk to me. How are you feeling?" And he said, "I'm annoyed." And he said, "Why are you annoyed?" And he said, "I know I didn't have to tap then." And he said, "Well, why did you tap?" And he said, "Because it was hurting." And they went through this whole back and forward of evaluating the situation, thinking about how you're feeling. What is that feeling? How can you address that? Let's go again. And it was this, I was sat there thinking, fuck me, this is genius level shit. Why aren't all kids doing this?
Yeah.
Like, rather than flying off the handle and, "Oh, sorry, have a bag of sweets." It's like, no, you're going to get pinned by your sister again.
Yeah.
And you're going to learn self-control. And it's fucking beautiful. And this is all the while, this is in the middle of the day when all the other kids are painting pictures of fucking pastas at the school. And then I get asked if I think it's the right thing to do and if my kids are socializing and growing up. And I'm like, hang on a fucking minute. I've just seen an epiphany from a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
Like, what? But I can't hold it against people, because it was a big deal for us to withdraw from the school system and swallow that pill and go down that route. But now we've done it. We've lost out. We're probably earning 20 grand less a year between us for the sake of this. But my God, now I feel bad that I didn't do it earlier, because I'm thinking, what did I miss out on? Like those 2 years that she was at school. I'm like, oh my God,
right.
I missed out on her reading her first words. Like, the teacher got to get that, to do that.
Yeah.
I want that. I want to see all this shit. So it's a little bit of not ego.
You want to do it perfect.
Yeah. And I know the only 2 people on this fucking earth that want the best for my kids are me and my wife. No one wants better for them than we do. And I tell them that all the time. I tell them that.
Yeah.
I make sure that they know that. Like, everything that we do in this life is to make your future better. Now, you can join in on that path and you can make your future better by doing as you're fucking told.
Yeah.
Because they're not angels.
That's a great line to tell. That's a great line to tell your kids. I tell my kids something similar to that. I'm like, hey, dude, I'm like, you might be mad at me, but I'm the coolest person you're ever going to meet. It goes down fucking hill from here. Yeah. So learn to love me. And because no one's going to do whatever. The other day, I was driving the car and I was supposed to take him to my mom's house. And I was on the phone, or I was on autopilot, and I started driving towards my house. And one of my kids started crying in the back. "So you're not taking us to grandma's?" And I was like, "Listen, dude," I pulled over. I'm like, "Listen, dude, I fucked up. Listen, you never need to cry if I fuck up. I live to do shit for you. Like that. My whole existence is to make you happy.
Yeah.
So all you got to do is be like, hey, wrong turn, dude.
Yeah.
Wrong turn. Yeah. Like
keep me up. Let me in here.
Yeah, that's a great line. There's no one who's going to there's no one who wants better for your kids than you. Bravo, Jake. Yeah.
Cool.
So you have time. You have time to do podcasts.
Yeah. That and that's the thing between the 2 of us. Like, the kids are now have been, what's the word? Channeled enough that they know there's stuff around the house to do at any one given time. So they're never bored. They're never at a loss. They're never asking, what can we do? They're busy. Sundays for us are chill. You know, they go to rugby in the morning, they go swimming, and then they got CrossFit. So they've got 3 hours of keeping busy, and then they do a bit of work in the afternoon, go and see the grandparents.
Your kids really are busy.
Yeah. If they weren't, they'd be fucking nightmares. Like the one that, like, if we ever have a day where we just haven't managed to get them doing anything, by 5 o'clock in the afternoon, they are bouncing off the walls. They're fighting. They're wrestling on the carpet. So it's more a case of, for our sake, we tire them out physically. get them thinking about food. We get them to prepare their own food now. So putting recipes together, asking them what flavoring they want, what kind of protein they want, have they had enough fuel today for what they're doing. Again, it's this thing. It's just keeping it basic, and it's beautifully written so that you can implement it with anyone. That's the beauty of it. Even things like
struggle causes adaptation. Just keep your kids in a constant like state of like a little. There's always going to be a little struggle.
Yeah, but getting them to be able to choose that struggle. You are lucky, you two. You get to choose your struggle. You get to choose what your discomfort. You get to choose that. A lot of kids out there don't get to choose that, so you get to. So choose hard, and then real life will seem that little bit easier. I'm very. Hey,
what if you would have come to the island and your wife wouldn't have liked it? What if she was like, "Hey, I can't be stuck on this island alone." Or what if you would have done that? It's kind of risky, right? Because that could have happened to one of you. How many years have you been there now?
I've been here 3 years now, but I was born and christened here, and then moved to the London area.
Your mom gave birth to you on the Isle of Man?
Yeah. So my mum's Manx in the Isle of Man. We moved to London because my dad's family are from there. Lived there for 37 years, and then after a few stabbings that were within 10 miles of my house, growing up with the kids, this option that had always been there just jumped out. So I said to Katie, we're going on holiday. We're going to visit my nan, who was alive then. We went and stayed with her. We stayed here for 2 weeks, explored the island, met all my family, all my friends, looked at job opportunities, look at housing, look at areas on the island. And I didn't need to sell it. Katie was like, well, can we move here? And I was like, yeah, we'll do it. So within 3 months, we'd sold our house, we'd moved, I'd got a job at the CrossFit gym, and we were here.
Why do you rent and not buy? Just financially, just better situation for you?
Yeah, the market's terrible over here, as in the UK, not just the island,
right?
And it's just not feasible at the moment. It's just not on the cards. And the difference between renting and buying at the moment, it's negligible whether or not you actually invest in any money or going to have negative equity. I owned a house in the UK, so I sold that. So I've got money for a deposit and all that stuff, but it's just it doesn't seem the right time. I've got a feeling, mortgage rates are quite high at the moment, so we're waiting. But we've got no rush. Again, like the whole of since I became a parent, my one job is to be calmer. All I want to do, I want to be the most calm man on planet Earth. That's my job. That's what I want to do.
A kid's respect, self-control,
and they learn from it.
I mean, everyone respects self-control.
It's why I can't be around manic people. If anyone's one of those people that flies off the handle, that shouts, that screams, that fucking just, when women, that's the certain type of women that when they see each other, they go, bah! The second I hear that, I turn around and I never see that person again. Like I'm quite good at going, no, fuck off. There's certain types of people that I can't have around me because I'm trying my best to be calm. So if ever there's people that are disrupting the force in that sense, I just say bye for now, and then I never see them again, and it's bliss. I don't have to worry about that. I do not know how those people get by in life.
The show, you're all in the comments, you're always so quick-witted. Is that sort of your comedic outlet? Like I'll have Greg on and you'll ask him questions about ball sacks and stuff, and like no one else will do that. And but it's kind of like you do it with class. It's like somehow you stay on one side of this line that makes it always funny.
I think
like there's almost like, hey, is he being serious or not?
Yeah,
it's like a valid question, but it's just like
I'm very, very, very rarely serious. Like in so much as things don't really get to me because I don't let them in. If anything's verging on that, I just say bye-bye. But for me, I think you said it a little while ago, this chat it's sort of like a testing ground. It's where I can talk to people, because most of these people in here, like I'm on a WhatsApp group with about 30 of them. So every day, because we're from all around the globe, every hour of every day, there's messages flying back and forward, whether or not I'm involved in it or not. So I'm in contact with most of these people all the time. And me and Heidi, for example, we could be having a go at each other, calling each other slags in this chat. But then on the phone, we're talking about like how our kids are doing at school. So it's
like it's like the whole different siloed, like not alter egos might be too strong, but it's siloed performances, life performances.
It's a caricature. You've done it. You know, when it's like a tribal thing. It's you know, like at sports games. You go to a sports game, you see the crowd. You can get lawyers and fucking farmers sat next to each other. One of them is like this, you know, cute, tied up fucking professional guy, and he's shouting disgusting things at the players with the farmer. But then the next day they go back and they're back to being Mr. Smart. So I think this chat is the bleachers. We're all sat up here watching the show, and we're just shouting shit all the time and seeing if you turn around and have a look at us.
Oh. You know, of course, when I started the podcast, I had no idea there would be like that. There would be this chat like this.
Yeah,
that's part of my life. Like it was like not even like a, you know what I mean? Like I knew there'd be a camera and the internet, and I knew there would be guests, but I had no idea that there would be a community or a cohort or a you know, people will tell me, it's like, "Hey, dude, it's too bad you can't just leave the chat on after you leave. People would rather talk to each other than you. It's too bad you can't just leave that shit on." Or people will sometimes I'll come to the chat. I'll come start the show and I'll see there's already 50 chats between people. They're already chopping it up.
Yeah. And I've had very, 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 very little experience in managing that over the last couple of shows that me and Jon have done. And there's like 3 people in the chat.
Yeah.
And I found it hard keeping up with like Heidi, PK, and like Jeffrey talking, let alone bloody 20 million people shouting abuse at you. So you do a pretty good job of managing that. That's obviously
you figure out who your go-tos are, right? Kind of. Like I won't even read them before. But I see Janelle Winston just post, so I know she's usually a good go-to. She says so then I'll just be like, Jake is awesome. And then I just, you know, so if I see you say something, I'm like, okay, this is probably going to be some comedic relief. This is good. If I want to hear about someone's cock in someone's mouth, I'll hit Pool Boy. You know what I mean? It's just like if I want to be like, if I want some tension, I click on Pat Lang. You know, it's kind of like playing a piano, I guess. I've never consciously thought of it, but that's kind of like, you know what I mean? All right, the show, I need to fight with someone. Where's Pat? You know?
Yeah.
Mike McCaskey's kind of a crapshoot. You don't know if I'm going to get ass pounded by him or a handy. Like I'm always like, what, you know?
But do you know what? We were talking to Garrett and Colleen about this a couple of weeks ago. And
man, aren't they good? They are good.
Fucking, they're completely unique in this space, and their value is through the roof.
Yeah,
like if they're a stock, I'd put a lot of money in them.
They could interview anyone. They're so good,
and they do. Like the people. I mean, they've had me and Jon on, like out of nowhere. They just said, "Do you want to come on?" We were like, "Yeah, fuck it." And then they've been so helpful with us over the last few weeks. I cannot sing their praises enough.
What do you mean in terms of getting your own podcast started up? Just like with questions?
Just helping us with just shit. Like middle of the night, it'll be like Jon will message and say something like, "How do we do this?" And Garrett will say, "Colleen will ring you in 5 minutes. Be at the phone," and then they'll just ring and then they'll talk us through something.
Oh, cool.
And then Jon will send them a picture of a massive cock, and then they'll find it funny
as a thank you.
Yeah. But they're such a couple of diamonds, and it's. But again, we were saying this on their show a little while ago, is that we've got a virtual affiliate. The chat, your chat, is like an affiliate, but we're virtual.
Mm.
We come together for an hour every day, and we let all our shit out, and then we fuck off, and then we come back tomorrow for the same thing. But we've got one thing in common, is that we enjoy this thing called CrossFit that we all do, that we work hard for. So no matter what your background, no matter what your beliefs or where you come from or how good you are at CrossFit, everyone's here for the same reason. And it's a nice environment to be in, knowing that no one's really going to take it too seriously. Like, there's topics and conversations that do get fucking deep, and they need to be, but at the end of it, everyone hugs and makes up, and then we're back the next day listening to you talk to Dr. Lance about the pelvic floor and having a look at like cocks and balls, which is
God, that didn't go well. I really wanted that to be good. I think maybe he's woke and I'm not, and I think that we just weren't connecting.
I'll be honest, that was my favorite show you've done this year.
Oh, really?
It was so good to watch.
Couldn't you see that he started not liking me?
It wasn't that he didn't like you.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I couldn't put my finger on it.
I really wanted to like this guy, but I don't think he likes me. Like, I wanted him to like come on like once a month. I would love a cock doctor.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Cock doctor.
It was almost as if he got distracted by something. I don't know if Grindr was pinging on his phone or something, but he was just it was almost as if halfway through he just went nope, and was like, you were asking him, and it's just like no. But that was the beauty of that episode.
Oh, okay.
It was like it was so good to watch.
The other day that JR stole the show was crazy. I don't know if you saw that one.
Was it Friday, that one?
We watched video submissions. It was crazy.
I didn't get to see that because those ones are at like 2:00 in the morning our time.
Oh yeah.
And I haven't managed to get around to what that, but
JR was on another level.
In what way?
His performance of, he played this and when I say played, I mean it's true to who he is, but he really honed in on this characteristic of himself as like being very quiet and very precise. But there were whole show was outlandish because all the submissions were just completely fucked up. You know what I mean? Like the show is a shit show, but he like took it like seriously. I can't really. Yeah, you have to see. You should at least watch the first 10 minutes of it. He is something else.
Yeah, he's very dry.
Yeah, people were dying in the chat, and I've gotten so many messages going, "Holy shit, that show is amazing."
Yeah. No, I will watch that because he does come out with some belters sometimes. Every now and again, he'll say something, and it's on the verge of comedic genius.
Yeah,
and you with him, the beauty of it is you can't tell whether it's intentional or not.
Right?
Did he mean to come across that way? Is it just that we find him very amusing as a person? I don't know. And that's the thing with JR. It's funny.
He's great to be around in person, by the way. If anyone ever gets a chance to be like, I mean, not when he's working. If he's working, he's basically the side of him we get on the show is his working side. That really is how he is. If he's focused, if he's coaching, if he's working, that's him.
Yeah.
But like if you're just in a house with him,
man,
he's light on his feet and happy.
Yeah.
You know, he's awesome.
But again, that's the role you play as a coach. As a coach, as much as you try as a human to be consistent with your personality across everything you do, you have to adapt around the people that you're around a little bit. And when you're the coach and you're getting paid, people are paying a lot of money to be there and be supported in a community. There's this balance that there's this act that you've built over years of perfectly crafting your personality trait around people, and certain words you say, certain mannerisms, certain ways that you deal with stuff. And I guess with JR's experience, as soon as it's anything to do with CrossFit, he puts that hat on.
Oh.
And then he's in that role.
Yeah. He's not sending pictures of black cocks to Colleen and Garrett when he's in that role.
I mean, Jon does that all the time. So he is at least consistent with that.
He should be a CrossFit agent. I heard they do that too.
CrossFit agent. Don't give me that bullshit.
I really want to start a show
Yeah.
that addresses a whole audience that this show doesn't have. You know what I mean? I'd love,
Yeah.
like, I don't understand why there can't be this chat
Yeah.
of just a bunch of fucking people who eat,
No.
they call bacon ham, and you know what I mean? And they think
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
throne is straight and just shit like
Yeah.
that. Like, I don't,
Yeah.
and so something that like starts at like 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Your time every morning or whatever. I mean, even earlier, 6, 7. I mean, I wish I could start this show earlier.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I really
Um,
want to do that, and I want it to be a live show, and I want it to just be, I mean,
mhm.
just based, I mean, I don't wanna say just like this show,
No.
but like this show, but with the other person's spin on it. Like, "Hey, you can talk
Mhm.
about whatever you want. You could talk about the Bible, you could talk about that girl who came and fucked 1,000 dudes in the UK. You can talk about, you know, how to make teach your kid how to run a faster 100-yard
Yeah.
dash." But
Yeah.
like you said, everyone, when it comes at the end of the day, we all kind of agree on some core tenets. Hey, you need to move and you need to not put shit food in your mouth,
Yep.
you
Yeah. The
know?
fundamentals are all there.
And then maybe even sort of like the political, or the lifestyle ideology is like, hey, no one's coming to save you.
No.
Like, hey, be a good person and help your neighbor, but also realize like you have to be accountable and responsible for your own shit.
Yeah. 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 Accountability is the ultimate lesson that I'm trying to teach my kids. Is you're responsible. Like in 50 years, I'll be gone. Like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do then with that?
Yeah.
And there's a whole audience of people that need that. You look at the popularity of Jordan Peterson, David Goggins, Joe Rogan, the Jocko Willink, all the people that are all these men's men that are out there that are teaching this fucking whole generation of men how to take accountability for themselves. They're bestsellers. They're the number one podcast in the world. They're out there, and there's a demand for it. So it's just a matter of capturing that audience, but also allowing other people into that realm and learning from it as well. It's a big deal, and we've got the ultimate tool for it. We've got CrossFit.
Yeah, right.
Um,
It's like the most fertile ground for people who see it. I mean, we're light years ahead of those people that you mentioned. We're
mm,
light years ahead of
yeah,
them.
yeah,
We're
yeah,
light
yeah,
years ahead of
yeah.
Joe Rogan or,
Mhm,
Jordan Peterson or even the health people. I mean, look at, I
yeah,
mean, we're light year, like, we get it. Like, we have the founder of CrossFit who comes on and says like, "Hey, dude, don't worry about anything except don't eat sugar
yeah,
and exercise." And,
yeah,
like, don't worry about microplastics while you're eating a Reese's peanut butter. Don't worry about the Reese's peanut butter cup or
yeah,
wrapper putting microplastics in your Reese's peanut butter
yeah,
cup. It's like,
yeah.
dude.
Priorities.
Yeah,
There's a beautiful bit. There's a beautiful bit in the L1 where they're talking about, like, Greg's talking about intensity levels and MCI, so movement, consistency, intensity, in that order. But the only way you're ever going to learn, you don't learn from the no reps or the car crashes. You don't learn directly from them. You learn from the lesson that you took from it. And the only way you're going to do that is you're pushing yourself to the extreme sometimes. You have to border that line between learning and failing a lot.
yeah. The margins of failure, something like that he calls it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of people need to learn that lesson.
He used to do this thing at the level 1. I think Greg used to, this is what Greg used to do at the level 1. He would draw a circle on a board.
Mm,
He would say, if you're shooting a gun and
yeah,
every shot's going directly in the center, okay, you need to move further back.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
When
yeah,
everything is out too far, you know,
yeah,
and he talked about that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, I would like you to try to do something on this platform, on the
Mm,
Sevan podcast. I'd like you to have your own show, the Jake. What's your last name? Chapman.
yeah.
Isn't that a great last name, the Jake Chapman Show? Yeah.
I mean,
Do you have time to do that?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
All
I do
right.
have time. Got plenty
All right.
of it.
And do you guys use StreamYard? Are you familiar with StreamYard?
Yeah, Jon and I have spent a lot of time setting up StreamYard. Jon's the creative guy.
Okay.
He's he likes to send pictures of willies all the time, but he's very creative. And now that might mean that he's made those pictures up. There might be AI, but yeah, we've got StreamYard set up. We've got YouTube nailed. everything mechanically is done. We've been learning a lot the last few episodes that we've done
Your
together.
audio is amazing.
Oh, is it good?
Yeah, you could probably if you brought
Hello.
Yeah, if you brought that close to your mouth, your voice would be even deeper. I don't know if your wife would wants you to.
Like this.
Yeah.
Hello there.
Yeah, but
Okay.
it's still good. But the closer you can bring that thing to your mouth, the more you'll sound like
Okay.
you have high testosterone levels.
Right. Okay. Okay. I'll remember that for next time. Good.
All right. I'll start a thread with me, you, and Souza.
Okay.
And you know, it's quite and you'll be the first person who's on kind of that side of the world in that time zone. It's really cool. We got I don't know if you saw Dale Saran's doing stuff on the channel now.
Yeah.
Jenny's doing stuff.
Yeah.
We all know Souza has his show. We know that
Yeah.
JR and Taylor have their show. And then we have Kill Taylor. And you know that I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but those are the kind of things that we could expand. There should be what I don't know what's a European we could do Kill Muhammad.
Draw Muhammad. Draw Muhammad.
Isn't that a popular
together.
name in the UK now? We could do Kill Muhammad, and you guys could have your own Kill Taylor show for people in the United States, but it's called Kill Muhammad.
We get people to just see how long they can live for if they try and draw a picture of Muhammad.
Kill Muhammad. What if I put that? I wonder if I put that into YouTube, if there's already a Kill Muhammad show. Kill Muhammad.
I'm sure we can do something.
Yeah. So I mean, I think there's endless potential.
Yeah.
For that side. Hey, is there military on the island in the Isle of Man?
We've
like
got
the UK guys there, like a boat or a shipyard or.
we got loads of military over here.
So there's a base there. And do those dudes behave? Those dudes don't go out and get drunk and like do stupid shit and get in trouble?
My old gym was in Windsor. We had the Windsor barracks that are lifeguards. They look after the Queen, basically. So, and they were special ops guys. Some of the stories I've heard from them, they kind of probably go in line with that kind of stuff. But
they get a little wild on the island.
They can on the island. No.
That's what I mean. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have like a base there where like, you know, there's fights in the bars and girls are getting
none of that shit. No.
All right, dude. Well, good having you on, and let's stay in touch. Yeah, you are absolutely wonderful.
No, pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, and I hope I get to sometime bring my whole family out to the Isle of Man, and man, what a cool thing that would be to stay there for a month. I can't even believe they have jiu-jitsu on the island. When you said your kid takes jiu-jitsu, I was like, wow.
Yeah, we've got four clubs on the island.
Really?
They're all fully booked and sold out. My kids do PT, so they do 1-on-1 twice a week. But only because my son's not old enough yet to join in the classes. But as soon as he can, they'll be doing that as well. I want them to do as much of it as they can physically.
It's the best. It is absolutely the best thing. Yeah. And they're doing boxing. Yeah, all that shit's the best.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, Jake. Well, hey, thanks for coming on. I will start a thread with Souza and you. Well, we have a thread with you and Souza and I. And let me pick Souza's brain and see if he likes you as much as I do. And we'll see if we can get something going.
Amazing.
Sounds great. You sound like you're perfect for the gig. I mean, it's just you're just a passionate man who wants to handle your business, and that's basically where we're at with the Sevon podcast. You know, we're in our fourth year, but we're still in like, you know, startup mode, and it's just people who just want to get at it.
Yeah. No, that's excellent, and thanks again for the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look forward to it.
Yeah, and thank you for all the support. Thanks for always being in the chat. I mean, you're definitely a staple. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
All right. That's enough. All right, brother. I'll talk to you soon. I'll talk to you very soon.
Cheers, Evie. Thank you.
Ciao. 69 out of 10. Damn. Jake is sharp as fuck. Yeah. Yep. Sevi, take off that hat. It's gay as hell. I'm going gay. Get off and get another one. I probably should have worn a different colored shirt. It's cold, dude. It's cold here. It's cold. Man, I really like Jake. Did anyone see anything wrong with him? I can't think of anything wrong. He has a nice voice. He's well spoken. He can take the conversation going anywhere. He's dedicated. It's kind of weird to have a podcast and hate people, but and not want anything to do with other people, but that's kind of cool. Maybe that's what we'll see him work through. Maybe that's what'll be the podcast. Are we on for today? Yes. Yeah. Do it. Oh, my wife's not here? The fuck? Is my wife not at home? Headed to appointment. Oh, my mom's here. Okay. All right. A bit more sober than I was hoping. I don't know. I liked it. I liked like really getting to meet him. John George, do you consider yourself a patient person? I'm not sure I have, or my wife had the patience to teach. Oh, sorry, I missed that. He's great. Hire him. Listen, no one gets hired. You have to volunteer. You don't get hired. You volunteer. You get asked to volunteer. Hired. Oh, what the hell? Hi, Rosemary. Where's Rosemary? I don't see Rosemary. Where's Rosemary? My mom's in the chat. I think my mom. Oh, no, my mom's at the house. Caleb's working. Caleb has a job defending the country. Well, that went, as they say in the UK, that went swimmingly well. That went really good. You save your login info. Fine. Okay. So yesterday I did Dave Castro weekend review. I thought that went pretty well. I was a little off my rocker last night. I like it when I'm like that. I was really, really tired about 2 hours before I came on the air. And then right before I came on the air, I had a cup of coffee. So I was pretty happy with, I got pretty fired up. I definitely went off script last night. Hey, what's up, dude? Hi.
Yo, what's up?
Hey.
Jake did a great job. He's gonna be awesome.
He's great, right?
Yeah. For sure.
I think I think we probably align on a lot of things. You know what I mean? He's homeschooling. He wants the best for his kids. He says a lot of smart shit that like probably like that like he helped me articulate a few things that I was probably never able to articulate just in that time he was on. I really enjoyed him.
Yeah, you're both good looking, jacked, big hog.
Yeah.
Meets all the criteria.
Yeah. Oh, he got a big dong too?
I guess so. Well, it seems like it.
Oh,
you know what's most important? Dude, it's official. It's the Gulf of America.
Is that awesome?
They just fucking changed it. I go on Google Maps. It's the Gulf of America.
Seriously?
What a time to be alive.
Seriously?
Yeah, go look it up. It's fucking great. It changes. If you haven't gone on Google Maps, it switches literally from the last time you went on from the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America.
That is incredible.
It's sick. Fucking Trump's awesome.
Yeah, Trump is. Holy shit, dude. Holy shit, dude.
It's the Gulf of America.
That is fucking brilliant, dude. That is brilliant. Mr. Birchfield, settle down. settle down. You settle down, Mr. Birchfield. Wow.
He's banning he's banning paper straws. The plastic straws are coming back.
You know, those ended up being environmentally worse, and they were poisonous, the glue in them for humans. I mean, it's the libtards are really, man.
You see, that's the difference between just being fucking smart. He took his first 4 years. He had to navigate DC a little bit. Okay, we'll give him a pass. Now he's changing the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. He's gonna bring back plastic straws. He's gonna get rid of pennies because they cost 2 cents to make.
I'm attached to the penny. Sorry, but I'm okay with it.
Penny.
I'm gonna accept it, but I'm attached to it. Hey, dude, I'm old. I'm old. But what are you gonna do? I'm attached to it, but that's okay. I'll let the penny go. Dude, this Gulf of America thing is fucking hilarious, dude. Oh, there must be people losing their. Oh, look, it's if you zoom out, it says Gulf of America, Gulf of Mexico. But then you zoom in and it's just Gulf of America. Wow, that's fascinating.
It's fucking great. All right, that's it for today. Have a great day.
All right. Bye. Thank
Love you, dude.
Bye. Love you too. Wow. That's amazing. God, I love that so much. I wonder if Pat Lang stands on that. I wonder if he's with me on that. Like, Jeffrey Birchfield says it's stupid. Standy would rather get fucked in the ass than see the name changed. That makes sense. Now, if you save your pennies, they'll be valuable someday. I like pennies. Oh, me and McCockner like pennies. Let me see who I get. Canada got rid of pennies. Right. Vindicate thinks it's silly to change the name. All right. Hey, he said he would kill daylight savings time. Yeah, I'm fine with that. It depends on which side we stay on. We need to stay on like the one where the sun goes down later, whatever that side is. Yeah, I think the name change is hilarious too. Nice picture, Olivia. What did she change her picture? I mean, it's always been nice. I can't see it. Where it went. Oh yeah, that's a great picture. All the things that matter in life in one place. Pat Lang, changing the names of bodies of water is definitely cool. You guys aren't fun. Come on, guys. It's cool. It's fun. It's fun. This is fun. This is fun. Gulf of America. I like it. I was trying to get my head wrapped around the tranny issue again today. I went over to there's a guy, I think it used to be a woman. It's a guy. He's got red hair and a big beard. He speaks very calmly and articulately on the whole tranny thing. He's really pissed that CrossFit's doesn't let the men compete against the women. And I just can't follow his logic. Just can't follow his logic. They keep saying that trannies aren't allowed to compete in the CrossFit Games this year. So I'm like, okay, like I know that's not true because everyone can compete in the games, but so that means they must be saying their reality is different than they think that what you think conducts reality and what we think conducts reality is what actually is. And maybe that's closed-minded of me, but so let's say I chop someone in half, right? I would say that they got killed and chopped in half. They want to say no, it's two people now. They're just not animated people, but it's two people now. And it's like, okay, I mean, I just think what I'm saying is true. That person it's just still one person, but they're chopped in half and they're dead. But you're saying it's two people and they're just not animated. They should still get to vote, and they get 2 ballots now. I mean, I don't understand how they think that if you just think you're a woman, or you think you're a man, or you grow facial hair, or you chop off your, I don't get it. Doesn't change. How many pieces would I have to change on my Prius before it was a Lamborghini? I guess that's a little different. Could you turn a squirrel into a lion? Hmm. This isn't interesting. The dumb part about changing names of useless shit is the next guy will always change it back. So all Trump did was make more people hate each other, like getting rid of statues. That's an I can kind of buy that a little bit. I kind of buy that a little bit. Wait, is her name Standy or Standby? Who's Standby? You guys block each other on here? Don't block each other. Standby is a cool name too. Standy and Standby. Yes, Standy blocked me, Sevi. If I pull this up, then she can see it. Or, oh yeah, then she could see because it's on the screen. Oh. I blocked Sevon on here. All right. What is today? God, you guys, you know what? You know what's crazy? You want to hear the fucking most bizarre thing? After yesterday's show, I was I had another show that I was supposed to do. And the show that I was supposed to do is this guy who's like going to war with cancer. I wanted to hear his cancer story. He's not a CrossFitter, just a really intense cancer story that I've been following online. And I wanted to bring him on and hear his story. Well, the night before, one of my friends had texted me saying they had cancer and they were going in for surgery. And so instead of doing the show, I forgot about my show. And as soon as the show was over, I left here and went in my bedroom and closed the door and called my friend who told me he had cancer and wanted to talk to him. Right. Isn't that a trip? I missed a show on a guy who's doing cancer because I was so preoccupied with my friend who just told me he had cancer. So and I felt horrible. I hate missing a show. I need to start checking my calendar better. Okay, so Jake Chapman on Tuesday. Oh, Susan must be coming on soon. Today's Tuesday, right? Susan does a show on Tuesdays. All right. Wednesday's Greg Glassman. Thursday's Caitlin Johnson. No one for Friday. All right. Tyson was great yesterday. Hmm. CrossFit started a podcast? Another podcast? Hmm. Has anyone watched it? How is it? No, I didn't freeze. I was reading text messages. I have to pee. And when I have to pee, I'm like torn because I want to stay on and hang out with you guys, but I gotta pee and I gotta like turn this part of my life off. I can't tell what's going on. I can't tell what's going on in my house right now too. I can't tell if the kids are training. I don't know what's going on. I did double unders yesterday. That was kind of cool. Hey, I'm live on the air. What's up?
Oh, okay. Never mind. I'll call you later.
Okay, I'm gonna get off now. I'll call you right now.
All right, bye.
Okay, bye. All right, there you go. On cue. CrossFit podcast with Nicole Carroll was vanilla and boring. Oh no. Well, it's only their first one. You really need a person of color on the show. That's probably true. I hate to admit that, but that's probably true. Sevi, you need a bare cable rope to speed those double. I don't know. I need a blow job. What I need. Other than that, bye, Slater. See you later, dude. Bye. Look, he'll do it. Thank you. I needed someone to step up for the blow job. Thank you. Oh, you're talking about to be the black guy. Oh, darn it. All right. Love you guys. I'll see you guys later. Susan will be here soon. Talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.